VG Gaming, like sharks, they smell blood in the water, and they're hunting. Yang, taunt chasing Armel up through the top lane. He's wasting time, however. VG need to push the lane.
This is a huge kill, though, to get.
Oh, with a gush. He's still got static link available. There's no stun. There's no way he can actually cancel the TP. That's the goal right now. Kunka's coming over. He'll BKB TP away to safety. Safety for Armel.
And in the meantime, Lifestealer and Rubik are still mid. So they pushed out that wave, and they're going to try to go high ground. Good Fissure is going to buy some good time here.
Still a big creep wave pushing in through the top lane too, and Ancient Apparition is forced in the bottom. So while Paparazzi is going to be knocking on the door, taking anything more than a tier 3 tower may be problematic, because they'll look for a trade-off. Here comes your Ice Blast flying in, catching everyone a long distance, but Razor so low on life. The Ozil trying to protect it, but it won't happen. Fade just volleys him down. But now what do they get? They're going to buy back out from a Razor, but there's problems on the bottom lane and top. The Catapult double waves really did a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, AO may have just saved a potential lane of Rax there with this bottom push that he was doing with AA.
Tims, this is a solo kill. Jumps out, can grab the double damage room. Fissure, maybe he doesn't even need it. Echo slams, a quick 4-star. DY, the Yule Scepter, he went up in the air and now Disruption. He'll go 2 different ways. The Ice Blast flies right over the top. DY needs to kill off the illusion, won't help. Gabby will find him. Gematrucite has been dropped. Still a 1-for-1 trade-off as they keep on battling. Maybe with the turret. Where's your boat? It's off cooldown, but they don't want to do it. The BKB's protecting TNC for the moment, but they're such low durations. The TNC know they need to back off once more.
And Tims used buyback. So did Shadow Demon, actually, so never mind. But Tim's is way more valuable. He's much richer. His buyback cost, I think it was, let's see, 1,200 to the 500 of Shadow Demon. So that's about another 1,000 gold before the gold loss itself.
And the fact that VG were able to get there in time means they also recovered the Gematrucite, so there's none of that value lost either. Very problematic for the support to try and survive.
And you're going to get your Silver Edge, it looks like.
It is.
It will happen.
So we have Silver Edge for the Kunkka. The Daedalus, there is enough money for Paparazzi to buy that right now. His surplus is 200 short of buyback.
Yep.
I also love how Fade's been working his way towards this scythe for such a long time. He's like, I'm fine. I got this. No matter what, I got this. Now smoke up from VG.
They have 2 Ravages, and there's Bounty Rune spawning. This is pretty much the perfect timing.
And there's no Echo.
Oh, this would be a great
Ancient
start.
Apparition. He is going to go down quickly. Dead for a minute and a half.
It might seem like a small kill, but he has no buyback and dropped the gem.
And Roshan spawns in 10.
Yep.
That's the bigger part. If VG Gaming see this without the Ancient Apparition blast, like, can you take this?
That fight, I think, is next to impossible for TNC, even with a good Echo. Unless VG line up for them to land the perfect combo, it's going to be tough.
Stolen volley. That's one Fade never wants to give away. He's going to go through almost the full duration of the steal for it.
It's a pretty pitiful tree volley compared to
the real Tiny.
To the real one, yeah.
Oh, Roshan's alive and VG know it.
It's a big boy. He's got all the items. This is Rosh number 4.
Where's your Aghanim's upgrade this time around? Do you actually even give it to the SD so we can keep purging up?
I think giving it to SD is really good. It applies break when you have Axe. That's why it's the hardest counter to Bristle. Maybe in the whole game. I think Shadow Demon Axe has got to be one of the absolute highest on the list. But are they seriously not giving him the Axe?
Who are they giving it to?
Lifestealer?
Wait, what? He's going to assimilate now?
That's like the worst Axe in the game.
Maybe it was a misclick.
I mean, maybe they just wanted to pick up everything in case TNC was coming, but I can't.
It's like, so what was
even your 3?
Swallow? Yeah, who do you swallow? You don't take in Kunkka. You can jump in with Tide Hunter, but Tide's the one doing the jump anyway.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, DY definitely looked a hell of a lot better.
It's amazing. It is so good this game, and he even has items to get them off reliably with both Lens and Force Staff.
Maybe they're just worried he's still low, but even then you could take the Rubik Axe.
They could have given it to Rubik.
Rubik would have been great.
They could have given it to Tide, so they have AoE got. I mean, there's no way. No way.
This makes no sense, but hey.
It's all we got.
That is the decision of the teams.
Vici are still in a great position, so
I love how we
for them,
we get to watch him again. It's like, guys, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. It wasn't meant for me.
It's like, okay, man, you want the axe? Swallow the next fight, then do it. Yeah.
It's like watching TNC. Like, it was the major where they're just fissure blocking each other out. And just playing around the runes. Hey guys, let's have a little bit of fun. It's going to remind you, VG Gaming, you're currently 1 game down in the series.
Yep.
A loss here drops you to the lower bracket where then every game is elimination to get to that grand final.
They're probably feeling really good about their position in this game, though, as they should. They're in a great position. Tide has 3 Ravages, but he doesn't have much mana, though.
Can he even get 3 Ravages off?
No. Unless they mana boot him or something. Do they have
you don't have any, like, there's no arcane boots on the SD. There's no arcane boots on the Ruby. They both put their items into the ether lens.
They probably aren't planning to use 3 Ravages in the same fight anyway. I think it's a mistake, though, to have the Refresher Orb instead of the Shard in his inventory.
Yeah.
You know, the Shard is free.
The 375 mana for Refresher Orb.
You get some regen for now from having the Orb, but absolutely swap in the Shard when you're trying to go high ground, just for safety's sake.
Oh, here's your move in. Bristle back in the front lines. Paparazzi gonna rage. There's a quick Abyssal Blade from Gabby. Trying to control up Paparazzi. They'll pick him up. They'll drag him back over with, actually, no, they won't. Just leave him under the torrent. The best front liner they could have asked for. A Bristleback with his back turned and no 3 purges to worry about.
Yep. How fortunate. Oh, that's a good fissure, but
yeah, it's gonna lock Paparazzi in. Remember, he's got the Aegis of the Immortal. He just wants to get back out again. Now they can start taking out the shrines. As Red Eye feared, this is VG Gaming. We take an objective, we move back, and we take a safer objective now. Be it farm, be it shrines.
I do not blame them for a moment for doing that.
Neither do I. You see the advantage.
Considering what happened last game too, they were in good position 2 or 3 times, and they just ran up to different high grounds and lost fights. Like, there's no need for them to do that currently.
You just have a chat with the coach at the back. It's like, okay guys, let's not go high ground until we're good to win the fight.
It's entirely possible that that's what RTK told them after the game. It's like, you have 10 minutes between these games. You don't have time to sit down and go through details in the replay. You get 1 or 2 key points across to the team that they need to work on for the next game. And honestly, I think one of them should have been, okay guys, in the next game, don't force fights in bad positions. That's #1 thing you don't want to do.
Okay, we have the mana now for Tidehunter to commit the Ravages. He's got Nocturine Core.
Oh, he was hovering at Daedalus.
Jump up, fade, looking for a target. Remember, he's got that side defiance as well. The Ravage is going to burn straight away. Tiny, it even clipped the Ancient Apparition in the back lines. Tiny does not have buyback available. VG have an opportunity, but the BKB is down for Kunkka.
He refreshed on Tide. Refresh #1.
Okay. Now he switches to Refresher Shard in.
Now he has another 2 Ravages.
Yep. A Paparazzi, again being that front liner, making the most of his immunity time. Mel and Gabby clean up the way pretty nicely. Another X mark. That one's over on Ori. He's not even coming close. It's just like, just in case something really weird happens. That's probably going to be on Paparazzi.
Noticed.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, he X'd the bristle with Lotus on. It looks pretty funky when.
Yeah, it does. It's like, that's not intentional.
All right, that's a half-decent static link. Not too great, though.
Still a 53-second window.
So is there anything coming up for TNC now that's going to turn the tides of this game?
They don't have Satanic yet.
There's no big item coming.
Tim's is waiting for the right opportunity. He's moving around the side. That's a good Echo Slam opportunity, but they just lost the creep wave. A 4-star. Gets Bristol back underneath the Tier 4 towers. The fissure is a fantastic block. Rage now up here from Limesealer with the BKB. With the BKB speaking to by TNC, they're waiting it out. The Ravage is ready in 2, 1. BKBs are out, and the Ravage goes #1. Yang, is it time for a second? Maybe it's not. The Aegis Immortal has been burned. VG take the racks. They're just going to reset.
They used 3 Ravages, and all they got was this shitty T-shirt. Now they got 1 melee rack.
They're coming back. Another pickup. The X-Mark's going to bring the Tidehunter back to front lines with the Torrent. Razor, 4-star forward. Blur Storm didn't protect him enough, and now Paparazzi feels like he can just go in. If he can get a bash, they've got the Hex from range. It's from the Rubik. Razor's down for 2 minutes. VG Gaming, what do you want now? Okay. Bottom lane or more?
Now it's a better T-shirt. Yeah.
I've upgraded. I've got the Mahjong set now.
Kunkka's going to defend easily with X-Mark. He comes back to mid. They're grouped up. There's no Ravages available right now. 60 seconds for 2 Ravages for Yang.
I love this. They actually TP Tim's out so he can pick up the bounty runes, so Razor actually had buyback. He needed to go and get that money, or else they wouldn't be able to have him for this fight. And then he'll come around the back. Echo Slam is available. VG may not be looking for it. The badge is already over on Tani. They force half him away. BKB will protect him. Now Tims, if you're gonna go, you're gonna go. 3 together. Lock him down. From heaven, the shadow arrives, but Lifestealer still gets the BKB off. He's been beaten down by Gabby with all that big damage. Cuckoo will get the jump in as well. Yang will fall. The damage is huge with the anchor smash back again, but they just chase for more. A long toss up towards Fade.
Oh my
Reed, and she just crit the crap out of him.
That's free volley. Did he just get 3 crits in a row?
He did.
Oh, it's pretty absurd.
Man, what a play by Tims, understanding the game and then getting the great position. He knew he was okay because the Obs and Sentries were on top of the hillside, so he knew that VG had no information.
And you have to take these risks. When your back's against the wall and you're this far behind, you got to do something crazy, and it worked out. Ice Blast was crucial there.
You've still lost a lane of racks as well as a tier 3 tower on bottom. This is still the small crippling part.
It's not great, but it's better than the alternative, which was game 3 right now. More than likely.
Well, the alternative is still potentially there. It was a 30 grand advantage because the bounty risk got picked up by TNC. It swings back up another 5. The experience is probably telling a closer game, however. Only 9,000 the lead. And TNC, they'll smoke up. They want to force some buybacks.
Yep. How many are they going to get?
Actually, he went 2 charges of disruption on SD.
Yes.
I was wondering if he would think about the purge damage against Gabby, but he's going to Agon himself, so maybe not. There's disruption number 1. That bottom rack's getting brought down quickly. Ship is comboing it nicely. 4 stuff up on the Bristol back, still protected by that Lotus Orb. Kunkka pulled back by his own X-Mark. Double Daedalus looking to try and get some level of damage in, but TNC just did a hit and run. But they didn't force the buybacks out for VG Gaming. Well, only the one on the Rubik.
Still a great grab, though. They got a lane of racks out of that?
Yep.
We'll take that. Oh, Rubik.
Big up. All staff away, and Cuckoo. Oh, no, Fade. He doesn't want it. Actually, he wants to steal it, but a great fissure once again. Creating space. Tiny BKBs. This is such a low duration time. They may try and continue the chase. In fact, they do. Here they saw him just at the last moment. Move up the hill. It won't last long enough. The bash is there for Paparazzi with the Abyssal Blade. Tiny will fall, so you did get a buyback, but now you're down a player, and Roshan will respawn in 40 seconds time. Tiny will have to buy back if TNC want to try and control it.
Yeah, he needs a way to connect to the fight, though. He can't afford Boots of Travel and buyback, and he has no shrine to TP on, so even a buyback is a really long connection timer.
They're coming. Silver Edge up from Kunkka, walks in, close range, ravaged a pop, Razor, Armel had no time to react with a double ravage. They keep getting out, and they pull both Tims and AU up on the high ground. Is someone going to force up? He's going to force up. He'll get himself away with the Glimmer Cape. X marks the spots over on Bristol back. Is there another follow through? Silver Edge is coming off cooldown right now. Hit him, break him, maybe with a volley. Ice Blast coming back, Bristol back low on life. Yankee Smash able to help get the kill. 2 heroes down from TNC and VG Gaming. Screw Roshan, go for the win. Those 2 big cores down. There won't be a buyback. There won't be a way to actually stop this. They're going for bottom racks. What are you going for? They're waiting. They're regenning up and then they'll come forward. They don't have a Ravage. It's the only thing to be cautious about. But TNC, with no buyback, VG will be aware of this because they are on cooldown. Now, Tim, Cuckoo, jumping in, able to get the first little avalanche and hit off, but Dispenser Destruction from DY creates extra space. Abyssal Blade, Sentry Wards are everywhere. Tims hits the back line with the Echo Slam. He needs to get the damage going, combining with the Ice Blast. 3 heroes be hit by it. Rubik and DY, they'll end up shattering through this, but 3 heroes down. All of the damage, all of it's gone from TNC. This is the win for VG Gaming. They will come through, they will claim more, and they will claim a deciding game against TNC, who have fought absolutely valiantly to get to this point. The Paparazzi will end it. GG is called. 2 games over an hour. This is becoming the marathon. The VG probably never thought they'd have to run.
These games are really close. These teams are super evenly matched, and it comes down to, you know, Dota is always about mistakes and big plays, right? And it feels like in both of these games, these teams are, there's some uncharacteristic mistakes that can be, you can write it out off as nerves or whatever you want, but, you know, for example, Gabby being the super strong bristleback, feels like immortal, runs into tier 2, gets killed, There's other opportunities in this game where Yang on the Tidehunter maybe whiffs the Ravage. Yeah, but there's so much to talk about in this game. I don't even know.
Hey, you know what? We've got some people for this. It's their job, so we'll let them have their job.
One, I didn't think it was going to come to this. Vici Gaming were looking scared. And I didn't really think that they would be able to manage to close out the game, but they did. But Grant, you weren't convinced by that victory yet.
It felt they were extremely scared. The late game, they had three tied ultis the whole time. They were so scared to push, and I mean, you don't want it, right? It's a Tim's Earthshaker, it's an AA. We saw like those two heroes can just wipe off like any hero off the face of the map, but they get these weird pickups, like they just find our Mel middle, and then finally it's pretty easy to end.
And it was established by some early game issues, like you were saying, Gunnar.
Yeah, there was a gank bot in the life there. 4 heroes of TNC kind of smoked bot, and then they fissure him, and then he didn't blink. He just echoed the ground. I think that was the big turning point. Before that, Gabby was really strong on the Bristle, and they had stacked for him. They controlled the earlier game. They had this good strat around the Bristle. But I think after that, their snowball they lost control of the map. VG started kind of feeling comfortable about playing around the map. They weren't scared about Echo, and I don't know. I think the game kind of fell out of control.
Yeah, I think it's like the BKBs, right? Like once the Bristleback has to like fully commit to a hero, he's chasing after someone else while they're trying to hold anyone, and they just can't get anyone because the Bristle's on this side of the map and there's 4 other heroes fighting like the rest of Vici. And it just felt like Vici did have very good positioning in that game, all things aside.
Well, we'll wrap it up here, but we're not wrapping up this series. We still got one more game, and I'm sure Red Eye and his boys have some thoughts of their own.
Yeah, I'm sure we do. I mean, gents, another long game. And TNC seem to kind of like these long games, Dendy. They do well most of the time in these long games.
They feel like fish in the water in the long games.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Vichy also. They also playing some long games in this tournament, and they also feel pretty confident. And that's why I see this 1-1 score, and it's not surprising me at all.
No, it's great for us as well as neutral cat. We always want the best of 3 to go all the way. And I mean, I think Toby said in the exit of that, they're just so closely matched. There's nothing between them.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
In terms of both good play and some mistakes as well. We also Syndrome made the point, didn't he, during the commentary? Dota is a game full of mistakes. You can't play at that high level perfectly all the way through for a 60-minute game. So the capitalization of those mistakes is also interesting.
Toby called it a marathon in his closing statement, and I think that really applies to this series, is that endurance. It's going to wear on you. There are going to be some slip-ups, and we saw some slip-ups on both sides. Our drafting panel talked about the fact that Vici Gaming almost looked a little scared, considering what a big advantage they had with like the Tidehunter. They were pretty cautious, and I could see how some of that lost them maybe some fights that they didn't need to, or they could have capitalized further, but also some of it saved them. Just think about the way they played that 5-man and they all backed up into their shrine, or 5 minutes later, they had another fight in the same area. What did they do? Go to the high ground, drop a ward immediately. I love that idea that Vici Gaming has against TNC. Let TNC crash into you. Don't necessarily be looking for those fights.
Yeah, because they're going to do it at some point. We'll take a look at the scoreboard as well. Fog, in many ways, the longer it went on, the more confident I got for TNC in some ways. But it, again, didn't pan out this time. Why? Explain to the viewer that doesn't watch a lot of Dota why it didn't work out the same as the first game.
Well, for this one, in this one at least, some of the times for TNC they've surprised me, but in this one I looked at their draft and they were much more mid-gamey. If they started to lose an advantage in this game, I think that their draft, just based off the heroes that they have, just hit a brick wall. They have a Bristleback and a Razor, which, these heroes, they can dish out a lot of damage if they're ahead, but once you start losing that advantage, a hero like Shadow Demon is going to start really crippling your lineup. That Soul Catcher, we saw it coming out, just brings the Bristle to half HP every single time, so it just changes the whole outcome of what your idea of what the game could actually be.
Did you invent a word in there?
Lockdown.
Mid-gamey.
Mid-gamey?
Is that one word, or...?
I'm down with it.
I think
mid-gamey.
It feels kind of weird.
No, I like the fact you...
ever heard of mid-gamey before?
I like it.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
You know, it's like, like how food can be a little gamey, right?
Huh?
Yeah. It's like chewy, right?
That's exactly what I was going for.
Exactly.
Right.
So, but I love the fact that he pulled out the Shadow Demon, because that was something that I noticed in the early game, right? This Bristleback had all this farm, and normally in that situation, you're like, God, this Bristleback is actually going to be unkillable. But they had the answer to it. Shadow Demon is easily one of the best counters to Bristleback.
And they even... Lifestealer took the Aghanims
Yeah.
from the Roche.
Yeah.
That definitely was supposed to go to DY for the break.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, they definitely had the tools going into the later game. I think that's maybe why we saw a little bit of backing up coming out from Vici, because looking at their draft, if you get to that later stages, you're going to have these ways to address that bristle.
But maybe it was a strategy where a
Maybe it
Lifestealer
was.
eats a Rubik and gets into Tide Hunter, where you jump in and hello!
Surprise!
We hope.
Yeah, maybe. All right, good stuff. Thank you very much, gents. Do you know what? I've been mystified this season. We've seen Vici Gaming rise from the ashes of finishing second all the time, but they found the winning formula. But what is that formula? Let's find out.
打得像你妈了个一样，还玩不玩了？不玩滚回去的！你们能不能学学周海洋？现在就他知道怎么打。虽然他在劣势路送很多次，但是其实都是在帮大家拉起空间。
皮鞋16个月了。
Make yourself known. We are gonna have Game 5 of a Grand Finals here.
我不知道它是怎么发生的，人刚一选完，回头看他就已经不动了呀，突然就不动了。其实没什么影响，我们还是赢了。最难的就是要不被 RTK 发现啊！我们需要想很多办法，因为他一旦发现了，肯定想要来踢掉皮鞋来跟我们一起打了。 我们宁愿跟死的皮鞋打，也绝不跟 RTK 打。
我知道，其实皮鞋根本就没有死，就是我让他装死的。让他装死呢，其实就是为了我们这个团队能更上一层楼。杨神对于这个团队功不可没，通过他装死这件事情就可以证明他是这个队伍的顶梁柱。对。 Nice， 兄弟们，10分钟加油！
我实在是带不了这菜逼了，肯定还有别的办法呀。
今年 TI 大不同，最终 VG 会举起冠军盾。为什么我会这么有自信呢？因为其他队都没有我们队这样的死皮鞋战术。
Amazing, absolutely.
That was one of my favorite ones we've ever had, I think.
It broke all of us at some point. I've actually got tears in the corner of my eye. I couldn't. As soon as I saw RTK, I said to Denny, I know this is fake. I know, but it feels like it could be real. Like the way he was reacting at the start. I'm very scared of RTK.
Man. Oh, yeah.
Very scared. But what a fun piece.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. I like how they're all just like, yeah, we don't want to play with RTK again.
I'd rather play with Dead Yang than ROTK. Please don't bring it back.
That was good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. The memes.
Oh, yeah.
Chinese memes.
I mean, it just started
They're the
off
best
right away
memes.
with him saying, Yang's not dead all the time. He's just been creating space for you. It's not feeding. It's
It was a strategy.
Yeah.
It's a strategy we came up with. We should look forward to game number 3. Dendy, game 3. Yay!
Yeah. Let's
Love
go.
game 3s. Especially when it's a couple of teams who are very closely matched like this. There's nothing between them, is there?
Interesting. I'm not sure who's gonna win. I'm still thinking it might be Vici.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the favourites, Cap. Let's be honest. Yeah, I know TNC have done really well and exceeded expectations in many respects in making the upper bracket because many people thought they would end up in the lower. But they're not far away. This is, regardless of the result now, I think they all get confidence from this, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they've had 2 very close games against Vici Gaming, who are one of the favorites of this tournament. And you're in this situation where it has been quite the marathon. It's been quite the endurance test. If you're TNC, you've got something special about you that just always fires you up when it comes to these close matches. You want to be able to take down the big giants of Dota. They've done so before with some of these players, and I almost want to change over and say that TNC is going to win this series just based off of, just little things about it. Like just the fact that they're still willing to go for it so many times. Maybe Gabby lost them the game with his idea that he was so strong at going for it, but I still appreciate that point of view, just being able to play more free Dota.
Yeah, and Dendy, you made the point, didn't you? We were talking about it downstairs. They don't care. SCA, they're like, we've got 3 dead. Yeah, let's just go in on them.
Yeah, and that's amazing about them. Also, I like what I see from TNC with 4-core strat. I mean, that's really cool. That's something interesting. I see that teams and Kuku always have almost same network. Sometimes teams even go further as position 4.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. It's something new. We don't see that much out here, and it's working for them. So it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, we saw that in game 1, didn't we, with the Tiny?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Transition into a core.
we tend to see that a lot when he's playing, when I see Kuku playing in particular, like I mentioned, the Bat Rider and that Sanking. He actually backs himself up a little bit. And he's like, yo, Tims, you're going to be playing a little bit more of that 3-roll. This game, he was playing the Tiny in this one around, so he was prioritizing himself a bit more for him. So you can see that Tims kind of trickled down a little bit on that one, where I think I always just like seeing Kuku playing these ones where he's not taking that much space on the map and just let Tims kind of take over that 3-roll. So maybe slight adjustment for them there.
I don't know about you guys, but I find Tiny terrifying right now. Like everything he's able to do from a support and then the way he scales in the late game, there's just seems to be very little this hero can't do, right? It can solo kill heroes, it can actually deal with cores, it can get them out of position, it can save your allies with these great tosses.
It's a sieger. I think that's one thing that people forget too. You actually can hit buildings. You turn around, you've got like 3 tree grabs on the tower, and it's chunked down to half HP or more. So.
Players are coming back out into the arena for game number 3. A game where perhaps Vici weren't expecting to have to play. And as Toby One has already said, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And they are getting themselves back to their booths. They'll get ready and set for draft number 3. And TNC are pushing Vici Gaming all the way. And remember, this is one of the very best teams of the year. I know they might not have been on your radar if you don't follow Dota that often. Maybe you tune in once a year to TI and you're looking at them thinking, I don't really know who these guys are. Well, these guys have been fantastic through 2019. They've won 2 majors. They've been competitive in everything they've played in. You can never count them out. On paper, Kat, before we came here, if we'd said the upper bracket's going to be TNC versus Vici, every one to a man, we'd have all gone, Vici will win that.
Yeah, I definitely think so. But a lot of these TNC players are stepping up. I think that one of the biggest names coming out of this series and a lot of the group stage has been Armel. The story of him in Southeast Asia was always the fact that like it was a little bit hard for him to find a team initially. He was hard to work with, but everyone, no matter how you felt about him personally, respected. They said he was super skilled. And he finally shows up on TNC, and I think that this year has really been a showing of just consistent, strong performances, right? There are very few games where I look at it and I'm like, oh, Armel lost them the game. No, more often than not, it's going to be him carrying them the game.
Yeah, and you pointed out, haven't you? I mean, good old support bros, we have to stick together. You pointed out they've got a couple of great supports in this team as well.
They do, on both sides. Got to be looking at both sides. I mean, we saw what they were able to do even with like Fade in that game as of Rubik, and then on TNC also, whenever they're playing AU's playing something at Chen, like there's just so many different varieties. I mean, Dota's just gotten to the point where everybody has a more impactful role, and that's what makes it so much better to watch. Because back in the day, you see a support, and you're like, the hell is this guy? The game's going late. The hell is this Rubik gonna do? He doesn't do anything. Now you have all these like plethora of spells and combinations, talents. Makes the game so much more exciting.
It does. And then you pointed out that it's a much more flexible game now. Because you can have that 4 can suddenly become a core at 30, 40 minutes whenever it wants to. And even Secret, they move stuff around all over the place. Like their 3 becomes a 4, sometimes their 5's farming. They don't really follow the classic rules of Dota. It makes it much more interesting.
It's up to teams how do you split the entire farm on map. And if you watch, for example, IE bots, they split between 5. Yes, and then some have greedier positions.
I was going to. I don't know if that works all the time for the AI, but yeah.
I mean, so it's up for teams, and when we see some special, for example, splitting of farm on TNC side, and it's really cool. It's interesting. It's like it's more space for creativity. It's more space for finding out something new and fun, and exciting. So.
Yeah. And that's what's awesome about both these teams, right, is that they are both young, and we've seen from interviews on both sides that that youth and all the fresh ideas that they bring to the table, that's what they say is their greatest strength. Vici Gaming just had an interview where they were talking about the fact that they were willing to work around each other and go for these new ideas. And then you've got the old dog in ROTK who's going to, still solidify the basics of Dota and what remains to be true. But all these other guys, the players, they're down for these new, fresh ideas. Right. They even tried Core IO.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much, gents. It is time to get into game number 3.
Virtus.
That's right, Red Eye. We are going now into Game 3. And now, before we go into the draft, though, I wanted to ask a question. Dendy had mentioned something about how TNC are playing 4 cores, basically. And to me, that's a marked difference from the Raven era TNC, where it was usually like, you know, give him a Terrorblade, give him a Spectre.
He was the man.
He was the man, the myth. And I'm surprised that a TNC like this, maybe it's because of Heen's influence, but Gunnar, they've been able to transition into this pretty smoothly. Is it because the meta encourages a 4-core kind of thing, or is it just a stylistic choice?
The meta kind of encourages it right now with the new Ags changes, new Roche changes, talent changes as well for supports have made them a lot stronger than they used to be. Like, a couple patches ago, like TB was like broken. You would just farm the whole map, and now the map's a lot harder to farm as a core, like by yourself, and you get the highest net worth in the game. So a lot more teams are having a lot more greedier 3s and greedier 4s, and they play more as a team, and they play it as a team game, not as a
win me the game. Win me the game.
It's just, you know, we'll make space for you.
There's so many items now. You get 2 tomes at level 10. You get the Aghanim's Blessing, which obviously should have gone to the 5 that game. Like, it bolsters these supports. Like, they all have GPM talents at 10 or 15 now. Like, it just makes sense to pick these later game supports.
Yeah, and that's why Tiny is proving to be so important and a hero that Vici Gaming does not fear, as we see the ban still respect banning that Chen from AU.
I'm just really surprised TNC didn't ban Tide.
Yeah.
Like, they banned it the first game, they let it through last game, he owned, and I think if Vici just gonna pick it up again if TNC doesn't.
I'm more scared of the Shadow Demon. I think that kind of ruined TNC's strat last game. The Bristleback got really hard countered.
Yeah.
I know when I was playing with Forev, he would say, I'll play Bristleback against anything.
Except Shadow
Demon?
Demon?
But not Shadow Demon.
Really?
Yeah. So...
But are you that worried? Because, I mean, they're not going to pick Bristle now, obviously, right? I hope so. And that's why I just feel like in the first game it was Enchant played by Yang, and, like, he doesn't team fight. You're an Enchantress, and now you have this Tide Hunter. You want a team fight. You want a 5v5 TNC. And I'm worried if you let Vici 5v5 you, they will not outsmart you, but, like, fight into the Shrine we saw. Like, they do the little things better. There's a Grim.
It is a Grim, a different direction for TNC, actually, and not any sort of typical combo right off the bat, as Earthshaker doesn't have any targeted spells that would work with the Soulbind duplication, so going in a different direction, and Vici Gaming going to respond with a Leshrac.
Yeah, so last game it was banned in the second phase, so they couldn't open with the Shadow Demon Lesh, so now they're just going to take it earlier.
And this is popular just, you know, because you've got a great setup for Split Earth, but even beyond that, so where exactly do you think this Leshrac's going to be laning?
Probably mid.
Okay.
I think some teams can run at 3 and then a 4 Shadow Demon or 5, and they kind of pair them. They put them in the off lane. So they go on the safe lane. It's your job.
Yeah, and not only is it a great setup, right? Lesh is one of those heroes that needs a save. You don't have a blink.
Yes.
You don't have one of those things. And the fact Shadow Demon can set up and save you is so good for the hero. Because that hero just pumps out the damage. Like, Leshrac is so scary.
For the longest period of time, Leshrac's Yule's timing was so critical, because not only was it giving you mana regen, but it meant that a hero that needs to be in the fight can actually live for more than like 5 seconds of Pulse Nova damage.
Yeah, that's why you'll see a lot of teams pick Oracle with Lesh.
Right.
Because they give him the save. He stays alive 5 extra seconds. That's like 1,000 damage he pumps out on every hero per second. It's crazy. I also like that they picked the Lesh over the Tide Hunter because of the Grim. I think it's a response to the Grim. His Phantom Embrace doesn't get purged by the Kraken Shell.
True. One of the few things, yeah.
Yeah, so you can silence the Tide. He can't really get his Ravage off. You know, if you grip him with the ult, with the Grim ult, they can't like split. The Tide gets stuck. So I like that they're kind of changing it up.
Sand King ban, really good. You have an Earthshaker, Grimstroke, Sand King. At these 15-20 minute fights, you will just get run over by like the long reach of that team, but you take it out of the pool, makes it a lot easier.
So then if you're TNC, how much are you hoping to really optimize this Grimstroke pick? Are you going to start going for, you know, the classic single target combinations that go with the Soulbind? I know Lich isn't particularly popular anymore. Doom seems to be the go-to combination from Grimstroke, but it seems that a lot of teams are just content to pick him as a great way to push out lanes because the Stroke of Fate is so useful, and then you just slap the Inkswell onto your Initiator like an Earthshaker.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? Because you think of carries that might be good, like with the Grimstroke, like a Sven, a Wraith King, maybe like that, but there's a Shadow Demon in the game, so it makes it a lot more difficult.
A lot of teams don't even pick much combo with it. I've seen teams pick like one hero, like with one spell that helps it.
If that, yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of, if they want to combo with it, it's a Grim. He'll build Aether and then Sheep.
Right.
And he'll get this Hex timing at, you know, 30-40 minutes. He has a really nice GPM talent, and he'll just combo 2 people, hex 2 people, and that's his contribution to the fight.
You see that stat? Tim's is 0 and 3 on the Grimstroke. That is actually, I mean, it was his only negative hero, but 0 and 3. That's like, that has to be a little bit in the back of your head if you are them. Like, oh wait, we just have 1. Obviously, it could be a 5.
It could be a 5. Give the Tim's Earthshaker.
I think that's a better idea. I just don't even like Grim that much as 4. Eventually, you are going to get like even that 5 position, the sheep stick and whatnot, because you have the GPM town. And I don't think you need to prioritize farm on a Grim.
It does work well with Jug that they picked up. You can Inkswell the Jug in the lane. He goes to spin. I think the Jugs are responsible to the Leshrac lane. You can put him there. He can never get stunned by the Shadow Demon combo.
That's true. And something that can actually brawl with Leshrac very early on, just because the Blade Fury means that he's not going to take really any damage from the Pulse Nova. It's just the Edict damage.
I think right now I'd like to see a Lina from TNC in their next pick or 2 for their mid. It works well with the Grim, and I think it lanes well against the Lesh if they decide to put it mid. It gives them this high tempo, it gives them building damage.
But you'd be willing to show your mid lane matchup this early? Or rather your mid lane hero this early on TNC? Because you don't really know where this Leshrac's going to be. We've even seen a lot of Chinese teams even one position Leshrac a lot of the times.
It depends on the team. Some teams are confident with their offlaner. If he has a big pool, he can counter the carry. They'll pick a mid like Lina, where it's stable. You're going to match up 50-50 at worst in almost every matchup.
Yep. TNC loves last picking Bat Riders, so I could see him doing that. I'm curious if Vici's going to go. I would love it if they just picked another stun. I'm trying to think of heroes that would go well, but you want to fight TNC right now. You have a Leshrac, you have a Shadow Demon. You don't mind going late, but I mean, these teams are just running at each other. Eventually, it's not the fastest paced games, right? They're going to 50, 60 minutes. Eventually, you are going to have to run into each other, and these 5-second BKBs, whoever has more stuns at that point, normally is winning these games.
Do you know if Fade plays Earth Spirit?
Yeah,
I could
see it. Yeah, he does.
He does, right?
Yeah. It's not really in their pool of heroes.
I mean, Earth Spirit does not seem to be in the pool of heroes either, which is so shocking to me. The hero's been so good for so long, and now it seems to be more situational. Instead, Vici Gaming going to go for a Warlock. Obviously, plenty of synergy with the Leshrac with the Fatal Bonds, right?
Yeah, a lot of AoE, you have a lot of control. It's more teamfight. They were a little lacking on teamfight control. They had more single target from Shadow Demon. They had AoE damage from Lesh, but now they have the control.
And you have the cancel on Jug now with the Rock, which is really nice. Just holding him in place. Now you have the Rock, you have the ulti from Shadow Demon. This Jug is not going to be happy in fights.
Yeah, this Blade Fury spell immunity is not going to be able to protect you from these ultimates.
Yep. And it's going to be, looks like it is going to be the Fade on Shadow Demon, which I like. I love a farm Shadow Demon.
Do you think they're going to do 3 Lesh then? And try to match him with the...
That's why I feel they're going to do... I think they're going to want to... If they do that right, you have to dodge the Juggernaut lane, right? And we could see a lot of lane swapping. Obviously, we still don't know because 3 heroes, but...
There's the Tiny TNC Predator. It has brought them so much success. Unfortunately, in that last game, did not really pan out, but still, it's been a real showstopper this entire day.
Now I like it, because now you have 2 heroes who pair very well. Looks like the Lesh probably going middle. As you said, though, the Chinese teams do like sometimes playing it as a carry role. Like, it does scale insanely well. That level 25 talent, buildings are dead, heroes are dead, the Edict explosion.
Even the 20 talent, the Pulse Nova damage, he does crazy damage.
Yep, and you have so many parts.
Yeah, I'm really surprised to see what TNC does with the Tiny. They did it 4 the first game.
True.
3 the second game.
And you've been waiting for a 2 Tiny.
Is it going to be the 2 Tiny?
Is it going to be the 2 Tiny?
I think it's decent this game. There's 3 heroes that are really squishing the early game.
And TNC has overall last pick, so they can set up for it if they really want.
Yeah, this last ban will determine if they want to protect something like it. So if you did want to do a Tiny mid, and you're not expecting it to be a Leshrac mid, what kind of bans is a Tiny looking for? What does he not want to have to deal with in the mid lane?
I don't think you need a ban for the lane itself, as Tiny is a kind of self-sustaining lane.
Okay.
More of just the game, probably.
You ban a hero, assuming that you assume the Lesh is mid, and you ban a hero that's going to own you from the carry position, I think, more so. I think Death Prophet actually might be a good ban. We haven't banned it yet.
Yeah, the first time it's really... There you go. The first time it got through the second phase there, actually.
I think that would have matched up really well with Vici's pace. It gives them a lot more teamfight building. It's works well with the Warlock as well. You have a heal, you can pop your heal on the DP. We have another save in the Shadow Demon, like Grant said earlier.
And there would be a ridiculous amount of push. You got the Retaliate from Centaur, you got the Golem from Warlock, you got the Edict explosions from Leshrac. If you had a Death Prophet on top of that, it would have been devastating.
I'm excited to see. We saw a little bit in group stage how many people are going to go middle to defend against that Retaliate, getting it at level 1.
Yeah.
We saw a full 5-on-5 fight just to stop him from being able to get those stacks. I always find that so, like, just the change. Like, we'll just give it to him. And now it's like, let's fight for him. Who cares about the runes? We gotta fight.
Increasing. Like at first, it was like Centaur would just do it, and people would be like, ah, whatever. And then you need to bring an escort for Centaur. And Vici Gaming, they're gonna go late. They are picking up a Medusa, although it's not as late as Medusa used to be. These days, we're seeing Medusas participate a lot earlier on.
I think they get this Manta Butterfly timing and they push. But I'd be scared for a TNC Lina right now. It matches up well against the Dusa, and like we said, it kind of goes well with their other heroes. So I'm looking forward to Alina here.
Yeah, because with the Grimstar, right, double Laguna is one of those things like we saw it multiple times in the group stage. It's just scary, especially when you get that Ags, the pure damage of heroes.
No.
They got
22nd pick Brood Mother.
And it's against Medusa. This is a good Brood game, right, Gunnar? Like, if you're playing the Medusa, how are you feeling?
I don't want to go to lower bracket.
Yeah, they got brooded, I believe.
You're gonna go to lower bracket on a Brood game. This Medusa's gonna have to farm her little heart out.
Yep, you can farm the snakes. Obviously, you have split shot and that, but sometimes if she gets a diffusal blade, you just got to be careful. You're just getting run at.
So I gotta hear it. We're ending the series. Which way are you going, Grant?
I'm taking TNC. I think it's a great Brood pick. I love that they just have the Earthshaker and the Tiny again. I don't think those were ever the problems, and it controls the mid game while your Brood just runs around doing her own thing.
Gunnar?
I gotta go with TNC. The Brood was just a really nice pick. I think Dusa doesn't really kill the spiders that fast. Her split shot's not amazing for it. They have a good amount of magic resistance as well, so the snake doesn't really kill them. I think they might run over in 20 minutes.
All right, fair enough. But guess what, Grant?
What's that? That's my line.
I know.
Son of a gun.
I want to hear from the Banana Slam Jamma. That's what I want to know.
Going into this last game, I was thinking from the first two games, they both went over an hour long. And I was like, who's going to have the better late game? And I looked at Vici's draft, and I was feeling really good. The Medusa, the Warlock behind, the Shadow Demon save. Felt like they were going to have a really hard time fighting into this Medusa. And then suddenly you get this last pick Brood. And I think TNC's on this timer where they have to hit the mid game really hard, snowball off the lanes. If it does go late, I favor Vici, but I don't know. They have no way to deal with Brood Mother early on in the game, and I'm scared for them. About as scared for them as I am of spiders. So let's find out how this game's going to go from Toby, Juan, and Synderen.
You know, spiders are terrifying. Like, absolutely terrifying. And it looks to be the same thing here in the draft, man. Like, what is the answer? How do they find the clearance? How do they survive longer than 20 minutes that the draft panel put us on a clock for?
Real life spiders don't look like that. Unfortunately.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
You haven't seen Australian spiders.
It would be pretty terrifying if you saw that spider in real life. Not just size, but also looks with like the cosmetics and everything it has on it. Yeah, this is a really great last pick Brood from TNC. I think if you're Vici Gaming, your solution is to put the Centaur mid. I don't think there's any other way you deal with this. You play the Medusa safe lane with the Warlock, and then you offlane Shadow Demon Leshrac. Perhaps you can do some tri-lane shenanigans and leave the Dusa solo and let her suffer a little bit. But I think the dual lane setup is the only thing you can really do. So what TNC should be looking at is, if the lanes are super predictable for them, which they kind of should be, put the ideal lanes. You keep your Brood mid, even if it's against Centaur, that's completely fine. But how can you punish one of the side lanes? Do you leave a hero solo and do some super strong tri-lane with the Grimstroke and Juggernaut? Or do you also do a 2-on-2 match where you can beat them in perhaps all three lanes if everything goes right?
That'd be very advantageous, and that would put at least like if they could win all three lanes, TNC would be very happy because they can potentially stick to that 20-minute timer. But I also like the combinations that VG Gaming have, where you have the SD as well as Leshrac. It's a classic, it works really well. DY, if you can get early levels and you actually have a rock to drop, if you actually have Fatal Bonds, if you have some kind of control that's able to amplify the damage that Paparazzi as well as Ori may be missing in the early part of the game, then this is a better advantage too. And it feels like, while there's not a Magnus in this game, the rock drop is still able to cause a lot of problems. Same with the Stampede. How does TNC stay on top of them, or does it not matter? Do you just keep pushing anyway?
I mean, I'm pretty convinced that if this goes late, Vici Gaming will win this game, because they have some good late-game solutions for Brood. They just don't have the early mid-game solutions for Brood. And Brood has a tendency to either win games in 30, 35 minutes, or sometimes maybe 40, or lose most of the time when it goes very late because the hero falls off. Whereas a hero like Medusa scales very well into late game. So does Centaur, so does Leshrac, and their two supports. All of Vici's heroes are amazing in long games. So, yep, you got to hit that timing for TNC, and a lot of it is going to come from Armel. So keep a close eye on his lane.
We have seen some Broodmothers have more success in the late game just because of the change to the webs.
Yes.
And that's one thing they can do when the late game comes up. Ori's already being heavily attacked up on top lane. Tims has Toss. He's going to throw him back a long, long way. Ori's already used the Mystic Snake as much as he can, but there's no regeneration. Gabby gets the first blood up on top lane, and DY, there's nothing he can do about it. He hasn't even leveled an ability yet. And every time, this will happen again. Tims with another toss. The early aggression. They cannot allow this to happen. DY, now he'll level up the Shadow Word. He's putting it onto Tims. He wants some level, some rebuttal, one more attack. It may be enough. Yeah, it will be. The Shadow Word will tick him down.
Tango.
And DY, well, he's, yeah, Tango. Actually, is it still? Tango. It's enough. Tango is good.
Tango. Close call, though, but he got out. And yeah, this tri lane is super strong. TNC has a true kill lane here with Grim, Tiny, Jugger. It's only going to get worse when both Grim and Tiny hit level 2, so that they have Inkswell and Avalanche, as Tims will
not deny himself to the mid tower.
Suicide to the mid tower.
Hey, but shared bounty, right?
Yep.
Everyone gets some money. And Cuckoo's getting pounded on the bottom lane. He's looking for some CS, but he's 10-2 to the 2-0. Right, of himself 2-0. But Paparazzi's trying to do some damage directly into Cuckoo. No points up in Edict just yet. They're using Disruption, Lightning, Split Earth, anything they could do to harass him down. He's down to 3 tangos after burning through a couple more as well, south.
That's the price they'll pay. But if they can shut down Medusa really hard, it's great news for them. When it's going to come to pushing and ending the game, though, you might want Leshrac to have a slightly worse game than this because it's such a strong team fighter with a lot of damage output with the right items. But as the panel talked about, there's some serious bursts on the Radiant side from Tiny and the Juggernaut Omnislash as well. You can probably deal with Leshrac pretty well.
And defensive ward from DY is down, so they can at least see where Tims is moving. They probably would have liked to get it on the other side of the tree line, but Fedor bonds Tims and AU to the camp. Tims with the Avalanche. Someone want to come close enough? Yep, it will in fact be the Grimstroke. And DY wants to help out. He just got some damage into the Grimstroke, and that's all. Ori is totally dead. The shields are nowhere near strong enough. And it's just a terrible game for the Deucer now. And I just saw Yang jump, I think, like 10 CS. One double edge on the Spiders. Okay, he just went up another 5 CS.
He's going to rush Vanguard. Then he's pretty safe made against the Broodmother. What generally happens in Brood matchups like these is that Brood will retreat to the jungle and just out-farm you. They'll farm wave and jungle camps, and Yang will just sit there and get only the wave. But Centaur's biggest advantage in this lane, to an extent, apart from being able to be there, is that if Brood leaves, he's going to take the tower with Retaliate. So you put a little bit of extra pressure on that mid-hero to stick around, and will probably limit Armel's farm by a little bit. It's trying to be annoying now.
It buys some good time, more than anything else. And that's what VG Gaming need. Still get Leshrac up there, top 3 net worths. Only one of them belongs to TNC. Brood's still a little bit further behind. We know that will start to scale once Brood...
bottom lane.
Oh, they're actually going again.
Yep.
Cuckoo trapped out. Fade. Well, he's getting a lot of poison stacks on him. That's 4. One more, not even needing it. He just pops him anyway. Then up on top, Tims going once again, DY. And this top lane eventually is going to have some diminishing returns. Tims is going in very deep.
Nice
Puts the
toss.
Shadow Word on him, tosses him back over towards Grimstroke.
Tims, or DY was not expecting Tims to be able to find the toss there. He was standing in the middle of the creep wave, but Tims found the right angle to be closest to the Warlock and toss him away, and they get a nice kill there. Warlock will be respawning and be able to reconnect for the bounty runes, but I don't think VG Gaming have any intent on trying to do anything on the top runes. Rather, push out bottom lane with the Leshrac and try to get those runes, as Shaker has...
He's abandoned.
He's gone woods.
Yeah, he's gone bush.
That's... Somebody's got to go bottom. You don't give up a lane at 5 minutes like this. I don't think that cannot be worth it with the heroes that they have.
No, that's like full free farm for Paparazzi.
That's one thing. It's also all this golden experience you're losing by not having a hero in this lane. Like, sure, you get some stuff in the jungle, but that's not ideal.
Unless they're thinking about lane switching. You've hit pretty heavily into the Deucer. Like, is there a need to actually bring some pressure down against the Leshrac?
I think that ship has kind of sailed for the laning stage, unless you bring 2 or 3 heroes down there. There's nobody who can go down here on his own and stop this Leshrac from doing what it's doing. The problem is if they don't do it, he's just going to push the towers. It's level 3 Edict. These towers fall really quickly. So this is absolutely a problem for TNC that Kuku has to evacuate that early, but that was the choice they made when they aggroed the Dusa.
Yep.
Dusa is in
Top
trouble
lane.
again.
Yep, really staying on top, but then again the Stampede. Inkswell won't connect, Fatal Bond's connecting 3 heroes together, and Paparazzi, he's joined the fight. Now he's just going to turn on the teams. They're all connected together, and no way to break free. Kuku trapped in the tree lines. If they can attack into Tims as well as Gabby, Gabby's going to try and spin TV out. He actually gets the kill on the way out. Tims is doing some damage into AU, but he's back home safely, regenerating up.
And these fights are only going to get worse now. If you try to dive, now that Leshrac has Pulse Nova, when he shows up, he's like double his damage in these kind of fights. So you've got to be super careful with how deep you dive as TNC. You got the kill that you came for, but it cost you 2 cores.
Hey, someone's going to go back down bottom lane as well. SD is now alone down there.
Yeah.
He didn't have to come for the fight. They sent in Paparazzi because they realized they needed the damage output from him. And what happened to Leshrac? He has now skyrocketed up to #1 in the net worth, 3.6k. And he can build some very, very large items very early on in this game. Like you're 6-7 minutes into the game, Efficiency Shrine just for good luck. Yang has already finished up the Vanguard. Paparazzi, what do we got coming out in the Courier?
It's not for him.
It's not for him, you're right. He was looking at a Bracer as well as a Null.
He's quick buying Bracer. I think it's a really good choice. Maybe you get Bracer and then Yules, or maybe you get, I don't think you get 2 Braces and 1 Null. That seems a little bit overkill, but the Bracer would be fine. And yeah, we see it. Gabby has to go bottom now, because, you know, somebody's got to be down here.
Yep.
And he does the long run from base to bottom, because he died TPing out from top.
AU. Do they see him? Do they see him moving around the tree line? He drops down his Observer Ward, instantly dewarded. That's actually munched on by Ori, so hey, Efficiency Tango. What happened to this mid-pressure that I thought Armel was going to do? Centaur, with Retaliate, is just wrecking this tier 1 tower. And Armel, the panel was saying, like, this is meant to be Armel's game, a great Broodmother game, but right now it's taking some time. The only great lane is up here on top where TNC is fighting once again. Stampede, the body block was good, but once again, Paparazzi TP'd himself over. Kuku was the sacrificial lamb into the tree lines. They're holding the split earth just in case, but it's not even required. Kuku, well, DY.
How did DY get that?
Wait, what? Okay, sure, he'll take it.
Did he die to Fatal Bond damage from the Grimstone?
I think it was Shadow Word tick,
right?
right?
That was a Shadow Word?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so Yang has won the mid lane. He took Brood's tower and is 600 gold ahead of it.
Well, now they're trying to do something about it, but oh, the 3-man stun! The hop stomp and the follow-up from Paparazzi, they'll take AU. He came out for the regen rune. Oh, this game is starting to escalate a little bit quicker. We were talking about TNC potentially winning all 3 lanes with great matchups, and now it feels like all 3 lanes, or at least 2 of them, have gone the way of VG Gaming.
I think you only have a possibility of winning all 3 lanes if you play 2-1-2. If you play 3-1-1, you can't win the 1-on-2 lane. And that one was lost really hard. The Shaker against the Leshrac plus Shadow Demon lane. And the Brood against Centaur, I would have said beforehand that that is not a Brood-favored matchup in the beginning, but that Brood can win it by farming, and eventually Armel will do that. But he lost his tower min at 730. I don't think that's as early as this would usually go, but Yang is super experienced with playing the Centaur, and he's having a wonderful game. 113 CS min at 9. I guess some of them are Spiderlings, but that's also telling, right? If he kills this many spiders, maybe Armel isn't in his right element on this hero in this game.
Yeah, he was throwing him in
like
like
great in the groups, right?
Yeah, he did. Fade is just doing nothing but chasing down AU. He had more than enough poison stacks on him. AU was on a warding mission. He came in onto the cover of smoke, but he only came in as he dropped the Radiant Orbs on top of his death position. So he was looking to plant that next to the tier 1 tower. But I can tell you right now, with VG's presence down here, there's no way TNC getting close to that dire bottom tier 1. But with Leshrac arriving, 4 points up, an Edict to push the wave, take it back. Looks like Armel's getting some damage into that mid tower, bringing it down to half-life as Yang had abandoned his post for a moment. And the catch-up is happening, as you said. Hand of Minus is over in Armel. He's building into the Aghanim Scepter. Rushing it up, realizing he needs to have a large amount of control across this map.
Yeah, he needs to farm a lot this game. But already, that is already a bit of a problem. If your Broodmother needs to, not that Brood needs to farm a lot, Brood always needs to farm a lot, but that it feels like he needs to catch up in a game where we talk about VG Gaming having the better late game and the overall early stage went well for them. this is very quickly becoming a problem. The win expectancy is 75% for Vici Gaming, and we're only 10 minutes in. And it's just this early mid tower and this golden experience lead that they have from the laning stages is quickly becoming a problem for TNC to deal with.
And look at the confidence from Yang. He doesn't care about coming high ground with a double edge. Armel. And that's some spill damage up on top. Paparazzi in Fizz Rune looking to prep up. It's a toss back. They don't even know Lashrak. Actually, yeah, they do. He walked just in range of the sentry ward. That's why Tims threw out the toss straight away. But Stampede, now they're chasing after Tims. What's he got? He's got toss off cooldown. He'll throw Paparazzi away, but Purge is up. Split Earth will easily be able to connect. And the tiny wall fall, Paparazzi claiming his 4th kill of the 8 that VG have 11 minutes in. His Gabby's getting something on the bottom lane. Farming out quickly, going in for the Maelstrom build over on the Juggernaut. And getting some damage into this tier 1 tower. Medusa will have to come and do something about it. She's just been wanting to farm up the stacks.
Yeah. It feels like TNC actually need to start making moves, but your Brood is not really ready for it yet. Just Yang is just sitting on Brood really, really hard. And your Shaker got crushed in lane, so he doesn't have many play options. And Tiny's level 5. What's Grimstroke? He's also level 5. We're 12 minutes in, none of their supports are level 6. On the other side, Shadow Demon is almost level 8, and Warlock is almost level 8. They have a huge lead. Are there any tomes on this courier? There are no tomes. This is what will happen. And so the weakness of going tri-lane like this is if you don't get a lot of kills and just stomp the lane, if you keep the lanes for too long, your supports are going to get underleveled because they're sharing experience 3 ways, right?
Yep.
And I felt like the moment Shaker evacuated from bottom and gave up on the lane, you need to put a support down there to leech this experience. You can't just leave this lane empty for 2 or 3 minutes, which results in exactly this. Your options are just super limited on the map right now for TNC.
You know, Fade, I think that's a little greedy, but I understand he wants to get the Ether Lens up. He just farmed half of the stacks that he did on the Ancients with just mass stacking up poison. But Ori can finish what's left.
I'm the carry now.
Yeah, it's just...
And now Brood is top net worth. So Armel is finally leading the board. But similar to Alchemist, Brood has a bad game if it is not the richest hero in the map. Your net worth is not as valuable as other heroes overall. In general, that's like a rule of thumb. It's not 100% always, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So this is not enough. If you recall some of the very iconic Matumba Man games, for example, from TI7 when Liquid won, a lot of the games Mato is 2k gold ahead of all enemy cores at this point, or maybe even 3. So with that logic in mind, Broodmother is currently behind par for the course, kind of.
He needs to catch up 2,000 gold.
He needs to find big items. And maybe if there's some sort of stray kill that can come his way that could help, maybe the Broodmother can find Shadow Demon, someone kill him with spiders, but Vici are just not playing Brood's part of the map with anyone else than Centaur, and he can't kill that guy, so look at how fat Yang is.
Yeah.
Crimson Guard, 2k health, minute 13.
And he's working on finishing a full pipe for his team, so a lot of the magical damage is going to be negated on TNC. Meanwhile, Paparazzi, because of his crazy start's got a Yule Scepter, so he's got both defense as well as aggressive options when it comes to the fights. And he's got Warlock sitting behind him. Like normally you have a Warlock and their Warlock hits 6 and you're like, okay guys, let's go and fight. Let's find a great opportunity. And now on bottom lane, there's the movement. Tims, Yule's stunned, can't walk away. He added some pressure. He tried to toss away Paparazzi, but that may have actually just hurt Gabby more if that actually succeeded. But it doesn't. There's still a one-off kill. Blink Dagger flying out right now. In fact, it's...
Gabby's running at Yang, but
no, that's not
what are you going to do?
There's a Blink Dagger for Cuckoo. This has to come on the back of a smoke. The Aghanim Scepter as well, I think it's about to be completed up for Armel.
Yep.
So a lot of critical items starting to arrive for TNC. What can they do with it?
Yeah, this has to be a play timing, right? You smoke up with your Shaker, your Tiny, your Grimstroke, and maybe a Jugger or Brood, and you combine on the lane and get something done. Either get this mid tower with a lot of Spiderlings, or you try to push the top tower. But just sitting around farming right now, I think is definitely the wrong play, and something needs to happen. So let's see what they're going to do. They're just going to grab these 2 bounty runes for now.
God, those whip
and
charges
Vici are getting a tower in the meantime. This lead, Toby, it's getting ridiculous. What do you think? 90% almost. 15 minutes in.
You just watch the win probability.
I mean, you look at that graph and you just feel like, okay, I mean, I know it went a bit better for Vici in the last 3 minutes, but I didn't expect it to swing this much, you know? It's like...
And you still have a Broodmother at number 1, Juggernaut's at number 3, and when it comes to net worth,
yeah,
like, items are not stopping. But it just tells you the tail when it comes to gold, when it comes to kills. It's not always the easy answer to say, well, we're ahead a little bit. So we're only like 60% favored.
Expectancy of games is... like the golden XP graph can only take you so far because it's a lot about knowledge of matchups and how things are supposed to go. DY
actually reveals that Earthshaker blinks over, but he didn't see DY. Now DY will drop the rock as well as get the better bonds off. Have they got another control? No, they don't. In fact, it's Fade in trouble. Stampede to disengage. My God, all those spiders just evaporated. Paparazzi and Centaur can go to work. Your Scepter up, and you will hit the deck in the hardest way possible.
Yeah, TNC just didn't find the play. It's so hard for them to find an opening right now.
That timing was really unfortunate too. Like,
yeah, they ran.
You had to have a guess of where the blink was, and DY was only just putting that Observer Ward down.
Yeah.
The trade-off, looking for the mid tower. Paparazzi will arrive. Once again, a lot of Spiderlings died for this movie. We're at 228 CS on Centaur and 172 on the Dusa. A lot of this is spiders.
I don't think the Dusa killed any spiders.
She hasn't? I guess she's just been neutraling.
Maybe a bit, but not much. If she killed, I don't, like 5 maybe? I don't think I've seen her kill very many spiders at least.
What's the spider gold counter or something? That's what we need.
They give minimal amounts of gold. It doesn't really matter that much. They're worth like 3 gold each or whatever. I mean, it's something, but...
And Cuckoo really wants to drop this Echo Slam somewhere, but he's not finding an opportunity at all. And he doesn't want to do it on Yang. Hood is already done. Crimson Guard is up. I think the pipe is just... Yeah, he's just waiting for 50 gold, and the pipe will fly out.
So we talked pre-game about timing and what TNC's lineup needs to accomplish in order to get control of this game and run away with it. And now that the timing has been missed, that is why we're seeing this 90% win expectancy. So what's the last 10%? Outside of Vici screwing up, the options that TNC are kind of limited to are trying to force fights around where Brood is playing, and then probably blowing up the Leshrac is my best bet. You're not killing Centaur, and if you are, it's going to cost you the fight.
Well, on the bright side, Leshrac went for movement speed build, so that's your upside.
He does have a save, however, and a golem behind him once that's available, so even that kill is hard, but it's what you've got to try as TNC is to find a way to access fights. If you're playing chicken with Brood the whole game, hey, Brood's chances are just not good here, so you've got to start taking some risks. You've got to go for some plays that are maybe very unlikely to succeed, but what if they do?
Yang wants to play. Gabby doesn't want it. Here, have a VG tag. That won't save you, Gabby. Actually, you will. Then just like, you wait a second. Huh? You're fine. Spin saves him, not the tag. But nice to see he's coming into this series armed with all the memes they can have. Paparazzi's hoping for an opportunity in mid, and Viz ruined up.
And Paparazzi's changing his build. He was hovering the Kaya, which is the classic component from the Sumail move speed build. I'm going to call it the Sumail build because he was the first guy I saw do it. I don't know if he actually invented it, but I think he might have.
We'll give him credit.
Where you go the Boots of Travel Yules, and then, or Yules, then Boots of Travel, then Kaya Yasha. So you have permanent 550 move speed with the 15 talent move speed. And then you can level up your Pulse Nova early because you have the mana cost reduction from the Kaya.
And Yang is hunting. Bottom lane, Stampede, straight through. Tims, well, he knows he's dead. Paparazzi didn't even arrive in time for the rest of TNC. Hey, what happens? You lose a hero. Let's go fight, boys. 4 heroes together, smoked up, looking towards the mid-tier 1 tower. Fade is the man who's on the defense duty.
I'll finally get this tower.
Even if they have to go, yeah, just send the spiders. They'll do the job.
Yep.
But maybe they can get something else. Dusa, as well as SD, is here. TNC fight best when there are only 4. They already get the slow out, the silence. No, Manastar the rock, and the feather bombs. 3 heroes connected together. They're going to burn so hard. Yang just walking up. You've already taken out the Grimstroke. Gabby, no longer spell immune. Cannot stand next to Paparazzi. They want Cuckoo. He'll blink away to safety. But VG Gaming, 2 heroes down. They can push towers. They can take Roshan. They can do both. They can take runes. They can only do 2 out of those 3.
Are you sure about that?
Well, there's only so much time they've got.
Yeah.
It's not infinite. And Tims is going for the bottom bounty runes.
Yeah, at the very least for TNC, they do look to get a 2-2 trade. Never mind, they get 3-for-1. Shadow Demon shows up with a haste.
Yeah, they didn't even take the tower, so I guess not.
And imagine, we're sitting here watching both teams' perspective, right? We're watching what both teams are doing, what items they have, how they're moving, where the wards are. And I'm struggling to see potentially good plays for TNC right now. So from their perspective in this game, I really wonder what the communication is right now. Like, what's the next play? What's the goal of the game? How are we going to get out of this sticky situation here to make the comeback?
Does the itemization of Armel kind of tell you a little bit about that? Like, he builds pipe, he's building for the team to stand together. You're still getting like full-on damage from Gabby. Like, he's going in for Mjolnir style build.
Maybe the timing is level 20 on Armel, so he gets the spider attack damage talent. And then he's going to have the Solar Crest and the pipe to keep the spiders alive.
Yang missing that up a little bit. Tim's trying to do something with this. Here comes the blink in from Cuckoo. Great fidget block, but it's the biggest hero you got to try and bring down. Once again, Fatal Bond's doing its work with the Echo Slam. They're getting through what we thought could have been the unkillable. We asked them to do something, and that's exactly what happens. Armel wants to go for more. DY begins to TP. Someone got a stun. Cuckoo does. Blinks forward, and now 2 heroes from VG Gaming fall.
All right, that's good.
That'll work.
They got 2 kills, one of them being the huge Centaur. They had to work hard for that kill, though. If Yang wouldn't have chilled so long and just used Stampede, he would have probably got out of there.
Yeah.
But he felt invincible, and that's... Sometimes feeling invincible is not a good thing.
Isn't that game 1 all over again?
Pretty much.
Hey, we feel really good. Wait, hang on. Reminder, we are playing a team that can knock us to the lower bracket of TI9.
So...
Give respect.
Very, very big for Brood to get this. He got both kills, he got the tier 2 tower, and all of a sudden Armel is almost got the Solar Crest and the level 20. And
Ari is still getting bigger though while all this is going on. Like, all the fights that have been happening, Ari has literally just been jungling or lane farming in very safe areas. He's almost going to crack the 300 CS and about to finish a full butterfly.
That we'll cross that bridge when we get to it for TNC. First problems first.
One step at a time.
Need to deal with the Medusa later.
Hey, you'll be out of control. Cuckoo's building in for an Aghanim Scepter, and once you got this, maneuverability is going to be the name of the game. Broodmother moving up and down hills, Cuckoo staying with him.
As far as Vici goes, though, you saw how long it took them to kill that Centaur. Imagine there's a save there. Imagine there's a Golem. Imagine there's a Shadow Demon Disruption. It feels like this play only works because there's not enough in the way of protecting him at the time. So if Vici Gaming are a little bit more together, winning a team fight right now for TNC seems almost next to impossible. Like, they need a really good Echo Slam, they need a really good Tiny Combo, probably a good Omni Slash too. Like, they can't really make any mistakes, which, you know, we've seen flawless teamfight executions from TNC. They can do it, but it's a really stacked deck against them right now in those fights.
Well, we passed, as you said, 20-minute mark. 23 is on the board. TNC.
It's a bit of a comeback, though, if you look at the graph. It got a couple of percentages.
It definitely is. We're now sitting at 89% for VG Gaming win probability.
So just
As
has the solar, right? Brood has the solar.
On Courier? Yeah.
So there's a solar and the level 20. The reason I'm looking for this timing is Brood gets insanely strong when these two things align. When you get the Solar Crest and level 20 for the Spider attack damage talent, you go from dealing a lot of damage to dealing a lot of damage.
Yang still wants the Spiders.
That's not a good way to have an army.
382 CS now on the Centaur. Rack him and stack him.
This is the highest CS of Centaur ever at 24 minutes. I almost guarantee it.
Nice smoke up from VG Gaming, except at the same time, Fade was walking back. Glimmer Ether Lens.
It might be the highest CS by Centaur ever at this point by like 50.
He's going to go in for Roshan. TNC, they're going to try and sneak
I love it.
in.
I love it. Take a risk.
But hey, Yang, he's taunting his way over the pit. Don't look now. He hooks up the pit. He's able to get the double stun. Running Roshan. Paparazzi was a fall for Gabby. He's perched up. He cannot move even with the spin. This is that piercing. The rock will drop. Connect everybody up. A quick Omni Slash. Try and break him free. Get him inside the pit. Gabby, he's actually on the other side of the rock wall. He gets away while Tibbs keeps it into the back line. You've actually wasted the Stone Gaze, and TNC, they get out without a single loss.
Yeah, there's no Stone Gaze, no Golem, no Stampede. That's pretty good.
Brood can slip back into Roshan. Now VG Gaming's attention turns into how do we stop TNC from claiming Roshan?
And I love TNC take this risk. You see, it's a high-risk play, but the reward could be massive, right? If you don't take these risks in this kind of game, you're unlikely to come back. So
They're even trying to kill the Golem off. Hey, there's some money.
And Brood is back looking at the Rosh pit. Has the spider damage talent. This Rosh can die really quickly.
You see,
Armel might just get it, actually.
Good observer one. Just looking in. What do you do, Ori? Do you want to push? He's got no save. There's no backup. There's a disruption. They're smoked up VG Gaming. They're still watching Roshan closely. The damage from the spiders as well as the Brood is so huge. The spiders actually almost going to go down. The poison's killing them off. This is when Armel loses his power, when he loses his spiders.
Yep.
So he has to make some more. Over towards mid. There's more where that came from. Hop stop, jumping in. Yang was trying to fight. Great Fish in the back line, but Paparazzi and BKB all protected. They're losing the Brood by the way too quickly. Armel needs to get up the hill and far, far away. There's no place like home. Leshrac and Yang both able to back up. There's a nice regeneration rune. Deny it. Woo. Oh, okay, well that'll still deny it. No, he bottled it. So Paparazzi can get back up to full mana.
Like,
Roshan, remember this man? 1700 HP. They want to break through him. Grimstroke's looking. Gabby walks in. Gabby walks out. We're playing Do-Si-Do in the fog of war. Paparazzi found the target in the backline. Cuckoo dead so quickly. He takes so much damage. Now Paparazzi can burn the regeneration room, get all that mana back. But Tiny wants something else. He's tossed back the illusion. He wanted the real one. Now Timt is out way too far. Yang will capitalize. Hooks something forward. Able to get the double edge damage. Paparazzi's there too. With the lighting, they got the slow stampeding up Timt. There's nowhere to hide. They still think about doing Roshan, but Ori, he is the gatekeeper. At the front of the pit, TNC can still not get in, and Yang is like, okay, maybe I should do some damage now. I'll help Paparazzi. Armel can't let this happen. Ori still on the front lines with a fidget block. He's trapped up on the high ground. DY can't really help him. Roshan, he will die to VG Gaming. Hager's in the hands right now. It's actually going to be Paparazzi. Gabby, he's trapped and brought down. Broodmother. Now he's trying to retreat. The more damage he takes, the faster Grimstroke will die too.
That was a super well-played Roshan control by VG Gaming. This whole situation, the way they spread their heroes, they have, like you said, the Medusa is kind of just protecting the Roshan area while the Leshrac finds an opening onto the Shaker, and they get a great fight out of it in the end. And, you know, hats off to TNC for trying to pull off this play. I think you have to do something like this, like I've said before. VG were just too good in this instance, and a weaker team would have maybe faltered there, and you would have got the Rosh. But you see, so Ori's going to walk up here and will get fissured off, but get Stone Gaze off, and flat out a mistake from Gabby here to get petrified. This should not be happening. He's just running in, getting petrified. I'm not sure what the plan is here. There's no way in hell you're ever killing the Medusa without using Omnislash. She didn't have any mana, and then they just ran down and forced the Brood away as well.
Yeah, you realize it from TNC. There was a lot of laughing before game 2, but things have gotten really serious. They're missing their timing. The pick of Brood didn't work out the way they wanted it to. But you still come up with a plan. You still try and find a way to fight against VG Gaming. It seems so hard to keep these spiders alive too from Armel. All that big damage he wants to get into the backlines to kill off units like the SD. But then you got Glimmer Cape protection. In fact, both of them are going Glimmer Cape. DY has almost completed his.
Yep.
So difficult for TNC just to get this straight up target lockdown. Goodbye Tier 2 tower. Aegis to the Immortal. Oh, they're still in the hands of Paparazzi up on top. He's having his own little duel with Tims. Stampede just wants to close the distance. Do some more damage. Tims has tossed. The creep wave's coming in. That's not what he wanted. Paparazzi, such fancy footwork. That's difficult with 4 legs. Tims, there's your hit with the split earth. Down he goes.
Made him work for it. I think Paparazzi messed up and could probably stunned out of the Yules. I'm not sure if he was saving it for anything else or had cooldown, but when I clicked up there, I think it was ready. So they have to use a Stampede, and it takes another 10 or 15 seconds. So Tim's definitely buying some time there, but time for what? Time for what?
The second coming of TNC.
Well, maybe time to fight for bounties.
Maybe.
You gotta try it.
Got 15 seconds to get into position. Luckily, Brood has a rather large network that he could use to get north.
And a rather large net worth, unlike all of his teammates.
Well, that's because he's taking up most of the map. It's pretty choked out. VG Gaming aren't giving them many options. And now, oh, Juggernaut, Yang, oh, blink, hop stomp, quick on the Blade Fury. And Gabby He needs some distance, and he needs it now. The rock will drop. Here comes Ori too. Needs some extra slow. Broodmother's going to be nearby. They're doing so much damage. There's no way the Juggernaut can live. Even with the avalanche, they can't create enough space. Dead without buyback, and Armel. Woo! That TB didn't work. And Armel, no protection. They're trying to slow him down. Great Fisher. Cuckoo able to create a little bit of extra space, but VG don't care. They just want to rampage forward. They want that semi-final matchup against LGD. And at this rate, they'll take it. TNC, they need a miracle.
Or 5.
One after the other, no spaces between.
Yeah, it's just looking really, really tough for them. Just a flat-out 5-on-5 seems completely unfavored. They don't have the damage to kill the Medusa. The Lishrak has an Aegis. Is running around with haste move speed pretty much. He took the strength talent, so actually doesn't have full haste move speed, but 510. And another huge grab for Vici Gaming.
And together they move out. They can take out the Shrine. They'll push through the top tier 2 tower as well. It's time for the new Vision game from VG Gaming. Actually, they've got 4 TP scrolls coming on the courier. All right.
Yang wants to be able to TP.
Yeah, they're all his. Could have brought some observer wards for him if they're off cooldown, but nope, we'll do it this way instead. Tier 2 tower is gone, and they will not hold back. With the Aegis the Immortal on Paparazzi, he's got nothing to fear. The Fissure doesn't block him out. Ori has enough space to move up high ground. No missed chances for him. And Paparazzi now triggers off the Edict. No fortification available from TNC. So the tower cannot survive. They are losing map control so fast. And all Armel can do is just move within his network, farm outside, but farm to what end?
He's got a Hex, so he can kill Shadow Demon. He can find some.
At least they have something then that can work with the Soulbind.
True. That's another good point about this game. When it comes to teamfight and how TNC have built their lineup, they really haven't set up Grimstroke for success, except the Juggernaut spin with Inkswell on. That's the only thing that synergizes with his ulti is his own silence and toss outside of the Hex that Brood got 30 minutes in. So Grimstroke's primary teamfight contribution is generally 1 stun from the Inkswell and then the Soulbind and setting his teammates up for success and maybe a good stroke of fate. But you take that ulti out of the equation, it used to even slow, it doesn't slow anymore.
Yeah. Like you just see like how happy VG are to keep doing what they're doing. Like you've already got your defensive items for Ori and he's going in for the MKB next. Like no need to worry about the big burst damage. 2.1k HP seems to be enough for him. Same with Lashrak, 2k, but he's got the BKB to defend.
He's super fine. He has 2.1k. Oh,
Ooh, Armel, the blink, the hold stop. They catch out the Brood Mother, and all the stuns, they continue to chain. Brood is dead. 85 seconds. Grimstroke cannot TP out. Faith able to control him with the disruption. And VG are all over TNC. No room to breathe. And this feels fatal. The push up from VG. YOLO indeed, Gabby. That's all you can do. The buyback came out from the Grimstroke. But without the Brood Mother, you don't even have the double Hex we were talking about. Tims, he goes for it. He doesn't get the toss back, however. He just tosses Ori straight up in the air. A quick fissure. Now the Soulbind together. Gabby is already spinning himself away. Paparazzi is killing Tims in the back line. They'll go Fountain if they want to. This game's over. It really is over. VG, playing your flag. You own TNC's home. Tims is going to do the best he can. TNC will fight to the bitter end. But VG Gaming now going for the Megas. Edict burns through all the buildings. Gabby moves forward, looking for some damage to burn off what mana? No, he's going to burn off life instead. Perched up. Now the rock will drop. They just want to control the Juggernaut. He'll still get the Omni Slash off, however. But how much damage is this really doing? They're so tanky and split across the fight. That's GG. 4 heroes gone. VG Gaming will advance to the semi-finals to have a date with an all LGD VG China semi-final 1. It still looked a little shaky, Cinderin. VG Gaming weren't absolutely perfect, but they still take the victory.
Yeah, this last game, though, was honestly really clean. They got last pick rooted. They adapted correctly. I'm like putting Centaur mid is not a genius move, but the way they played their side lanes mainly. Yang had an outstanding performance mid. Their top lane, the Warlock, Medusa, they bided their time. They didn't panic. They weren't like, we need help, we need help, we need help, come top Shadow Demon. Instead, they identify, okay, we're going to lose our lane, but we're going to win the bottom lane really hard, and we're doing well in mid for Yang. And what's going to end up happening is, well, if they stayed 3 heroes top, they're going to get out leveled. And when it comes to making moves, look at their picks. Centaur's or Shaker's losing his lane horribly, so he's not going to make moves. And the Tiny and Grimstroke are in the tri lane. They will not have levels. So you reach this point 10 minutes in where VG Gaming have 2 level 7 supports and the TNC supports are level 5, and there's just almost nothing to do on the map.
Beautiful play, the winner. VG Gaming a 2-1.
Yes, congratulations indeed to Vici Gaming. Was it ever in any doubt? Maybe, maybe not, who knows. But they are victorious and they do go through to a semi-final upper bracket in an all-Chinese matchup against PSG LGD. Back with our various sets of men. Grant and Neil, we'll start with you guys, really, because that kind of reverted back to TNC type a little bit. The first 2 games were great, and then the third one was a bit more like they were last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely felt that way. And I think the biggest thing is Vici, like what they did, they sent a carry Leshrac down bottom. They just sacrificed Ori up top lane. And then, you know, middle lane. I mean, without that double stout shield, I was like, will they actually do it? And they just put Centaur middle. And TNC just didn't know how to react. They're like, oh, at least we're beating this Medusa. But then after the laning phase, they just crumbled.
Yeah.
And that being said, after seeing the LGD performance and how they're moving through the upper bracket and seeing the Vici performance, if I had to choose a Chinese frontrunner, I'm leaning towards LGD because that series against TNC was neck and neck, sure, but even then, even though Vici won, I just wasn't that confident in them.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating match. I can't wait to see that semi-final. But let's wrap up on this one. We're going to have a look at the statistics in the game. Dendy, what did you make of that? That was a bit different, wasn't it? A bit disappointing.
Not really. I expected.
You really?
Yeah, I expected this outcome. If I saw the drafts at first, I thought, okay, TNC put themselves on a timer. They could pressure and maybe even take the game, but they needed for lanes to go really well for them. But this didn't happen, and then it was just a matter of time. Lesha created a great amount of space for Duza, and when Duza got her items, and then it was really, really hard for Juggernaut and Brute to take over Duza, for example.
Yeah, Gunnar, very disappointing for TNC after playing so well.
Yeah, I thought the Brood pick would do more for them, but the movement from Centaur to mid and then the Leshrac Shadow Demon really owned the early game, and the Lesh was way more farm than I thought it would be. He was the reason they were 6k up. Everyone else was even on the cores. The 2 mids were even, the 2 carries were even, and then this Leshrac's just 6k up on the other offlaner.
All across the board did very well. That was more like the Vici that we saw earlier in the season as well. Almost like exactly what we're expecting to see in this tournament rather than actually the first 2 games that we got.
I love when I see teams doing this, when you just like, we can just flex things, right? That's, I think, what we've seen the most out of this entire group stages and main event is that teams are just picking things, and it's like, all right, it doesn't matter if you do counter this hero, because we can just end up moving it. A couple situations we have seen like a Bristleback end up as support, which is a total disaster, but sometimes you can go for those flex picks. But I think also, as TNC picking a Broodmother versus Vici, Vici's one of the few Chinese teams that they know how to play Brood. They love to play Yang especially. He knows what he's doing versus it, so we definitely saw that reflected in that performance.
We're going to get some more from all 5 of you, actually, in just a moment. But first of all, let's catch up with the victorious side. Victorious. Casey, help me out here. I'm chewing my own teeth. You're with Faith.
We can make up any words we want, Red Eye. Like, victorious Victor. Congratulations. We're just making up words. Don't mind us. You looked super happy when you walked in the room. Obviously, we know why. But I'm curious how you were able to turn things around after that first game, because TNC looked really good. And you really had to change your strategy.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think we also can win first game, but we lose but we team fight is so bad. I mean, we don't play good in our team fight, so we lose the game 1. But I think it's fine. I think our draft or our I mean, the game it's all fine. So just keep going. And the game 2 and game 3, we just have we have a good team fight, so can we? Okay, yeah.
Good team fights. You mentioned drafting, and we were watching in the pods. We could see ROTK right before he left after the draft of that last game, and he was really giving you a pep talk. Can you shed some light on kind of the nature of what he was saying?
Oh, you mean the last
game, right before he left?
Right?
Yeah.
Medusa. And I mean, and our manager just told me, and in the last game we picked Medusa, and they picked the Broodmother. And I mean, when we picked we last pick, and he's like, laugh so much. You know? I don't know. And,
a confident laugh.
Yeah, they call me. They think it's the game very easily because they want to pick the Blue Mother to counter the Medusa. But with the game, that's insane. I mean.
Is it difficult to have to play such long games? Because all three of these games, but especially the first two, it's a really, really long time. Was that difficult on you?
I mean, I'm getting tired now. I'm very tired because it's hard. It's so hard, you know.
And you have to kind of maintain that confidence too in your late game.
Hmm?
You have to stay confident. Thank you, Helen.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I mean, we always confidence with our later game because we think we are not good in the early game, but we are really, really good in the later game in team fight. We are the team like prefer to the team fight with the other team like this. Yeah.
And you have you're going to be facing PSG LGD, but you get a day off. How are you planning on spending your time off, and what are your thoughts looking ahead to facing them?
PSG LGD champion, that's so strong.
Lots of respect for them.
Because that's a story. Last day, media day, and they have interview, and people told me they are mad. They're offering Charlie. Charlie said that he's like 10 years VG's fans, so he thinks we are strong. We can win this champion. And then we said, oh, okay.
We'll take it.
Oh, okay. I'm 23 years LGD fans, so I think they will win. Yeah.
Well, you guys looked great, and we're looking forward to seeing you play again in a couple of days. So congratulations. Do you want to plug your Twitter? I understand you're on Twitter now. Go ahead.
Fade Dota, just Fade Dota.
Fade Dota.
Yeah.
Easy to remember.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thanks for chatting with us. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Casey. Thank you to Fade as well. Great interview, obviously. We don't get to hear many of them in English. It's nice to be able to hear back from him. He's lots to say in there as well. Lots to say.
So much respect, right? He comes up and even gives the interview like that. So even after he's like, so hard, that was so difficult.
Yeah. It was perfect. It was brilliant. I just want to say a big thank you to all of you, to all of the panel members that we've had this morning and this afternoon. Dendy, thank you for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always, to have you, Dondo, on the panel. Gunnar, Neil, and Grand as well. Thank you very much, Cap, also in the middle of that. That is it as far as this panel is concerned. That's it from me today as well. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage, but of course, all good things come to an end, except today, because you get the bonus of having Rich up next hosting the panel. Right now, though, we're going to check in with Casey once more. Now, you know that British people, we love our tea, right? So do the Chinese.
If you would like to be proper, you'd always have pinky out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then a nice one.
Nice one.
Woo!
Jake and I thought it would be really helpful if we sat down with Dove and got to know the Chinese audience and the Chinese Dota 2 scene a little bit more. Because we don't know a whole lot.
Well,
you do?
One of us doesn't, but...
Really? What do you know? I'm sorry.
Yeah, what do you know?
Go ahead, Jake.
What do I know about the Chinese Dota audience?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, the greatest audience in the world. They got the best memes, the dankest ones, the most brutal ones. They got the most passion. They're at every event, no matter where we are. There's a gigantic field of Chinese Dota fans, and they're super nice. But is there anything I don't know about the Chinese Dota fans?
I think Chinese Dota fans, they are very enthusiastic first, but they also just want to root for a Chinese team.
But at the same time, there's a lot of respect, though. I mean, there's always GH God and all these nicknames for the Western players too.
TI champion team is fine.
As long as you win,
as long as you
there's
win.
respect.
Yeah.
So how can people like Jake and I and other interviewers make the Chinese fans feel more comfortable when we're talking to them?
Chinese fans, they are a little bit shy.
Shy? Chinese fans are shy?
Yeah. If you react very active, they're gonna be a little bit.
It's too much.
This. Yeah.
It's too much.
I got it.
Note taken.
That's American, very. Yeah.
So to be respectful, we should maybe ease into our interactions with fans a little bit more.
At first.
And
then you can.
And then we can.
Yeah.
Once they trust us. can't
once we gain their trust.
Excellent.
Do you have a Slacks equivalent in the Chinese Dota scene?
I think that's Dove.
I think more like Casey, but not Anna.
Are you sure?
I hope so.
How do you think that the fans here in Shanghai will receive Jake and I?
First, people love Casey.
Stupid interviews. I hate these stupid interviews every time.
I got my money to pay you for this.
Continue the interview.
Love you too.
All right. I care about the Dota stuff. Can I ask Dota questions about the Chinese community?
Yeah.
All right. Western audiences hate techies. Is that true for the Chinese audience as well?
Yeah, the same, I would say.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Worldwide hatred?
And also some Ricky.
Who's the most popular Western player in the Chinese scene? Who do you think they like the most?
Arteezy.
Arteezy?
I was kidding. Miracle, I think, probably.
Yeah. I think Western audiences mostly like ROTK.
Yeah.
They love him.
Yeah.
So, is it still the same in China? Do people still like ROTK?
Yeah, people do. Especially VG play very, very good.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, should we all have a nice little bit of tea to celebrate our wonderful times together?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, ready? To Chinese Dota. Come on.
I'm trying.
You can do it, Dove. You're not putting in a lot of effort. There you go. Thank you, Dove. It's
Thank
an
you,
honor.
Jake.
It's a pleasure. Always a good time.
He just doesn't know how to end a segment. He just is so...
Bye, everybody.
Well, we got to take a peek at that quick video piece a little bit earlier. They actually had a video about speaking Chinese where we got to see Slacks speak a little bit of Chinese. And I actually have been learning the local language a little bit, just the TI essentials, Kyle.
And what do you mean, Rich?
Bai Zui, Kyle.
What's that mean?
Mean shut up, Kyle. My name is Rich. I'm your host. I'm joined by Kyle Lacoste and Grant. Let's actually talk about everything, Grant. Like, I am so excited to now know that we're at least going to have on the final day here with this audience. We know we're going to have a Chinese team, guaranteed in the top 3 with how the bracket has worked out. But we're going to get to take a peek at another Chinese team, and you have to keep in your mind there's been a big fulcrum change here now. We're moving into best of ones. It's going to be best of ones the rest of the day. So let's start to talk about how that will affect these teams. First up, it's going to be Alliance versus RNG.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is RNG, honestly, coming in this event is probably the weakest of the Chinese teams. They struggled. They got last place at a couple of minors. They changed their roster a bit. But I do think you have a player like, it's hard. I really like Flyby. I really like Flyby.
I kind of feel like it's my fault that they're doing so poorly, though, because I picked
why
them
that,
in the
Kyle?
tournament. And the funny thing is that I was talking to a bunch of teams beforehand, and RNG was just rolling people in all the scrims that they played. They were absolutely dominating people. They were like, I was speaking with it was Heen and it was March, and they were like, dude, RNG is like super strong right now. It was like they were almost afraid of him.
That's what I heard as well. Maybe they played way too many games. Virtus Pro in their interview, Pasha, he said that they were not playing way too many games. They were just playing a couple of scrims a day and mostly being focused on the analytical part, like watching the replays, movement on the map, but they didn't play that much.
We've kind of heard a lot of people talking about the theory of an event like this, and can you burn out if you go a little bit too hard at the beginning? Groups, obviously, we had a lot of Dota played. I believe it was 144 games, something like that. So if you do go a little bit too hard, maybe you run out of steam. But Kyle, you were one of the ones, when you talk about hyping up RNG, you kind of hyped up the entire region. You said, we look at these Chinese teams, you said you could see all of them doing well. RNG, we'll have to see if they can pick it up. But let's talk about Alliance very quickly before we jump into everything, because this is a team that's been picking up some momentum. And the organization, we haven't seen them at a TI since it was the original 5 that you really think about when Loda was actually playing. So now they're actually going to be back here at a TI. How do you think they look?
Well, they definitely look like they have a really nice swag. The golden shoes that RNG got, the track shoots, I'm really liking it. And overall, this team, not the best performances throughout the year, but looking like a team that can upset pretty much anyone.
That's because they were playing in Europe, though. Oh, look how well they did at this tournament.
Yeah.
This tournament was,
Alliance, I mean, they did just win the Summit. I know people are going to say it wasn't the highest skill level tournament, but Alliance, you come into a tournament off of a W, and then you go into this group stage, like, I feel, who do you guys think's the favorite, honestly, just straight up, Alliance versus RNG?
I'd say Alliance. Alliance grown up throughout the season. At the start, they were kind of a punching bag in the Europe, got a couple of those events, but after all, I think right now they're in a good spot and they can be matched up against any team in the world.
And we have plenty to talk about right now, but let's take a look at all of the players that make up these teams. You just got to take a look at the folks that make up RNG, and you can hear the fans going to be cheering here in this stadium. They're definitely going to have that home field advantage. We're going to see the Chinese teams getting plenty of gas in their tanks from the folks here in Shanghai. We just saw that as well on the main stage just happening in our last series. This is going to be one of the teams that's going to need to ride off of all of that momentum, knowing that they are potentially the weakest team in the region. And they are going up against Alliance.
And it all comes down to one game.
Folks, you got to welcome Team Alliance. This is the first time that we've seen this organization take the TI stage since the original 5. This roster has stayed together throughout the entire year. They've started to pick up a little bit of momentum. You can see Loda walking out with his squad. A champion. As we hear the folks in China make a little bit of noise, even though it's not the region that we expect to hear a lot of people cheer for, definitely do have some fans in the arena as they get in their seats and get ready for this best of one. Folks, it's all going to come down to one game. Who will stay in TI and who will no longer be competing in this tournament? But before we jump into that action, it's very important to make sure that we know some of the stuff going on in these players' heads. Lucky for us, we sent one of the toughest interrogators in the entire world. We had Slacks ask them the spicy questions.
I'm falling apart inside.
Dude, I'm freezing and hot and cold and hurting.
We have Team Alliance here at TI9. You did it. It was exciting stuff.
Indeed.
I'm more nervous about this than playing at TI, man.
Here we go, gentlemen. The first wing. Let's do it.
It's not that bad.
I'm dying.
After I met you, I told everyone, these guys are some of the best personalities that I have met in Dota in a really long time. I cannot wait till they're actually good at Dota so I can interview them. Talk to me about moving from player to, you're an owner now, right?
Yeah, but coach is what I'm the most proud of being.
Yes. Owner, coach. Are there any other hats that you're wearing?
I'm a father. I'm a lover.
Wow.
I'm a singer. Yeah, no, it's...
What problems did these guys have? What did you have to break on these guys to make them better players?
Everything.
It's been a...
We started with the body and moved on. I'm not even kidding. My mouth is already on fire.
Just eat it. Don't think about it.
This one's gonna be bad. I can feel it already.
It's not that bad yet.
I'm only drinking this because I love milk.
You love milk?
Yeah,
They're healthy.
I'm that kind of guy.
bones.
Swedes, they love milk.
And Zadia, I went and looked up some pictures of you. I got some
God.
secret pictures of you. So what's the story with this?
I'm a big Liquid fan. I was walking around at Birmingham, and I saw this big Liquid flag and asked if I could buy it.
Wow.
And then I went and got it signed by the entire Liquid team.
And I got one more. You said that you wish this picture got deleted.
Are you serious?
You said that you hope that it never surfaced.
It looks great. And now he's...
Why do you hate it? I think you look cool.
No comment.
All right. I'm dying.
Sorry, guys. I'm giving up on the water.
What the?
It's not that bad, actually.
Are you for...
It's getting bad.
Are you for real?
It's getting bad.
Are you for real?
Shut up.
All right, here is the laning partner bowl. Want each one of you to pull one out?
I got one.
Oh my... Are you serious? Is this real? Do people, like, eat this?
Alright. If I was an animal, which one would I be?
You would be a...
Puppy.
You have ice in your mouth?
Yeah.
I'm getting tears from this.
Be a lion cub.
If you could go back and redo any game in any tournament, which one would it be and what would you change? Oh my lord.
I would go back to TI3 finals and ban Wisp. Would have been easy finals. Who's the best captain you've ever had?
I mean, the best is you. Like, I haven't had any other captains, kind of.
Best captain.
All right.
I like playing under Garter.
It's okay, Dota,
He's dying. I'm like...
You're handling it. It's hard.
Dude, as long as you talk, it's fine.
All right.
All right.
That was easy.
The Techie's nuclear apocalypse.
Oh, fucking
Is it worse?
It is worse.
What?
It's painful. We have a tradition here. If you like, put a little extra on the top.
Give it to me.
Just to see how much you can handle.
You gotta do it for the fans.
You can do it. Do
we
it
gotta
for
do
the
it for the
fans.
fans.
Don't do it. Don't do it for the fans. You're gonna regret this later. You're gonna like die.
Yes, but dude, we gotta do it for the fans.
I'm not doing it for the fans.
All right, sure. I'll take a...
Gentlemen,
Wanna cry.
the last one. The final hurrah. Then we have
ears are burning.
Me too.
one more
I'm
question.
gonna pass out. Yeah.
Techie's nuclear apocalypse. Here we go.
I can't feel my mouth. Can't feel my teeth. My tongue is gone.
I don't know what's going on anymore. All right.
Okay.
A little bit broken up.
I'm actually
Yeah.
shaking.
I thought I didn't.
It's like playing as guys.
This one made me numb, so at this point I'm just like.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm burning.
No, but this is. I don't even know what happened to me. It's
Oh
because
my
like
God.
I died inside, and now there's nothing left.
This is why you're TI winner, actually.
If there was a chat wheel line for the two people sitting with you, what would their line be?
I don't know what mine is. Probably I'm dead.
His is probably I'm dead, and then wait, no. No, wait, I'm good. I live.
I'm falling apart inside.
Dude, I'm freezing and hot and cold and hurting and...
Gentlemen, we've done it. We went to hell and back. Raise your milks with me. Let's watch this out. There's not a lot of milk left from any of us, but well done, Team Alliance. Woo!
I've never felt this emotion
I actually
before.
don't know what's wrong with me.
I'm having a fever, dude.
Well, we could see that they could barely handle the heat in the kitchen. We're going to have to see if they can handle the heat of the main stage. Let's actually talk about these boys for just a little bit longer, actually talk about these teams, because we've seen them go head-to-head in the past.
Yeah, I think so, and it ended up being Alliance winning, I believe, 2-1 over
Correct.
them, and I think the biggest thing for me is in a lot of these matchups, I'm looking at the 4 roles, but in this one, I'm looking at the 1 role. Meke as well as Monet, I think, are the 2 best players on each of their team, and it's pretty crazy. When it comes down to a best of 1, you might get Terrorbladed, you don't know, you might get Meke Morphling, and I'm very curious to see what they actually choose. Best of 1.
And I feel like there's also a huge distinct. Like Monet obviously has a ton of experience. He's played on the stage before. He's made deep runs into this TI, or not this TI, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, Mickey, it's his first time. I don't think he's really ever been on a stage quite this large.
big, yeah.
He's played at World Championships in Han. This is a bit of a different story, bigger arena,
This is
bigger
a
prize.
harder game. I'm going to say position.
You're also sitting on this desk, so.
Position 3, this is the position to look out for. Boxy, this is the player that stands out for me in the Alliance. The first time, I love the players who think out of the box, because I remember one of the games, CK with the Road of Athos and the double bracer. This is when I knew that this guy can think of his own and can make a lot of stuff happen. On the different side, you have Flyby. Maybe the player to look out for is Lana, because this guy can make a lot of space for his teams, for both of the carries. If mid is not going well, he's going to step up and make all the space in the world.
Fortunately for us, Dove actually got a chance to sit down with the folks from RNG, and that might actually give us a little bit more insight into what this team's going to be able to bring.
那今年 RNG 其实还挺坎坷的，从前期不太顺到后面换人，然后又打了个 Major， 你们感觉怎么样？
感觉就和你说的话一样吧，非常的坎坷，一路就是从3月到6还是到5月吧，连续3个月换人吧。对我来说，感觉看到一批又一批的队友就离开，我也算是比较难过的。然后现在又进了 TI， 怎么说，非常的激动，非常开心，又重回 TI。
大哥，
因为我是后来的嘛，就是我来了以后感觉到就是还是比较辛苦的。就是我们内部的说法就是 RNG 永不放假，不是我们的口号是 RNG 永不放弃嘛，然后我们的内部是 RNG 永不放假，因为我们是属于经常是 Mana 出现，然后 Mana 出现，然后如果你没打进 Major， 你马上要去准备下一个 Major 的预选。
那你们口头禅嘛，有没有？几个队友的？
我们的新口号好像是 RNG Team。
我没有问口号。
不是，你刚才不是问口号吗？
口头禅。
哦，口头禅。
就比如哪个队友经常说哪句话？
傻德给我的印象比较深的就是，教练问傻德选什么的时候，傻德就一下，然后就定住，然后就没有然后了。
那打进 TI 预选之后有放假吗？
好像就放了3、4天吧，很少，3期非常的少。反正总共下来这一年，可能加起来没超过1个月的假期。
那国土其实也是有家室的嘛，你自己。
对啊，就是因为来了 RNG 以后，就是背负着一点东西嘛，然后想证明一下自己，就还是比较拼的。
那 TI 预选打架了，觉得证明了自己吗？
那肯定不算呀，那肯定在 TI 上要拿到好成绩才算。
那回顾整个赛季，你们对自己成绩还算满意吗？
哎，肯定不满意啊！就是，很伤心的是，我们每一个比赛基本上都是1轮游嘛，就是很难过。
你们觉得应得的成绩是什么？
可能不如1轮游吧。
这太低了，国土。
心理预期啊，心理预期，队伍的心理预期可能就是包括我们，管理层跟我们聊的是心理预期应该是在前6吧。我个人的心理预期肯定是我要往高调一点，对吧？
整个这一年，你们印象最深刻的一件事情或者一个瞬间是什么时候？
印象最深的，你还别说，我印象比较深刻的是我还没来的时候，就是因为我还没来的时候，不是 RNG 当时要打 Mana 的预选还是 Major 的预选，然后Mana 的预选，然后他们过年没回家嘛，确实就是印象比较深刻的。
那2位其实去年都做过很重要的决定，加盟 RNG， 有没有曾经怀疑过自己当初的决定？
没有怀疑吧，就是自己做的事情可能没有处理得当。
每个人有每个人的处理方式，我是属于那种，就是做了决定，就因为你没办法去改变周围的环境，你只能改变自己，你只能加强自己。
今年 TI 毕竟是在上海嘛，算是本土作战了，你们会有什么不一样的期待吗？
期待我的朋友们啊、粉丝们啊，来为我加油吧。
莫奈特 ，Team。
期待自己能在需要改变、需要进步的方向去进步吧。
那最后还是有没有兴趣捧一下我们这个盾？
不敢摸。
不敢摸。
比较信邪。
会想起伤心的往事吗？
没摸过。
是吧？
想不起来，记忆力比较差。
主要是我往年都很信邪，我没摸，我今年我要摸一摸。
今年慢一点啊！
我不把它捧起来，我就摸一下。
摸一下。
对，我
他都摸了。
后面什么样？
后面是往年 TI 所有的夺冠队伍和选手，
都是在后面刻着。
算了。
对，要不你也摸一下？那刚刚盾也摸了，鞋也信了，你们觉得对自己有信心吗？夺冠或者哪些队伍会是比较强大的对手？
觉得秘密可能是夺冠热门吧。
那你觉得 RNG 真的就直接跳过了吗？
心里是没有跳过的，但是不能说出来，
偷偷的。
对你这自己不能奶自己，对吧？这是大家都知道的。那个就秘密危机老干爹吧。
好，干净利落。谢谢两位。
I really like their little catchphrase, just RNG team, or the other catchphrase that they throw.
That's usually me, like when you need something smart to say. Yeah, I don't know, guys.
Yeah, usually I don't ask you those.
It's kind of terrifying. I think Grant's actually the smart one on this panel.
Yeah, I saw. Well, originally Dendy was going to be on this panel, and then we got.
Well, Grant will still be the smartest.
Thank you, Lucas.
I got your back.
What would your catchphrase be, Kyle?
I don't know. Oh no, not again.
I don't know. Chat, we're going to double check to see what you guys have to say about what Kyle's catchphrase is. I don't know what mine would be. Probably like something like...
I don't think it's appropriate for this broadcast.
It would be a cute catchphrase.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't push your luck. I saw backstage, there's this blackboard, right? And just a bunch of fire emojis and then different odds next to our names.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yours are 3-1. I don't know what that means.
See, the only thing I have backstage is actually a whiteboard. Yeah, like a maybe it's an easel, but yeah, definitely. We could,
2-1 now.
Yeah, we can bring that out a little bit later. But let's jump back into talking about these squads here before we actually make our way back to that blackboard and increase any of those numbers. Who do you think has the highest odds to actually take this one down? We talk about recent history a little bit. We say that Alliance should have the edge. Do you think that the fact that we're actually here at TI, you're surrounded by a fan base of your region, do you think that that may come into play, Lucas?
Well, it's definitely gets into your head. It's a best-of-1 elimination game. Who has more experience?
Yeah.
Definitely RNG has more experienced players. I think we're going to see some more cheesy picks here as a 10th pick, especially from Alliance. I'm going to call Storm Spirit as well as a cheesy pick because there's no, if you 10th pick it, you're not going to have any counters for the Storm Spirit, and the Koikwa just excels in that hero.
You're not going to 10th pick it if they take Storm, though. That'll be first, too. They're confident with that. I would be, if I'm Alliance, I want to pick heroes like Timbersaw. It's the, because what's Alliance's biggest issue throughout the year, right? They get the lead, they give it away. It's a BO1. You don't want to have that happen again.
True.
I want to see them pick up heroes that not just like when they get a lead, it's cemented easily because, you know, if you're a Timbersaw and you're ahead of a game, you're ahead. You can't die. Like, you can easily press your tempo. Storm Ember, a lot more high risk.
And this was something as well that we did talk about when we were at the minors, and now we're going to have to see if that is going to be an issue they have. They are already taking the stage. Let's see who's going to be able to take the first best-of-1 of the day.
Alliance versus RNG. Game 1.
A spicy way to start our best of ones. Alliance versus RNG. The last time these guys matched up against each other, gentlemen, was the DPC Epicenter. Alliance actually beat RNG, but that was a best of 3. And this is a best of 1. And RNG actually did take that first game in that best of 3 as well. So it feels like we've got an even odds situation on our hands.
This should turn out to be a fun one, right? I think we've been looking at Alliance, and their last few games looked pretty greedy. They tried to run a 5 bristleback, literally, and it kind of blew up in their faces. They've also had a couple ones where they've gone a bit greedy, and I think they've gotten punished a lot for it. So I feel like in this one, at least for me, for Alliance, I don't want them to go so greedy. I think if they do that versus RNG, they're just going to get steamrolled. I think RNG, they had the fastest game of the tournament so far, too, right?
So I actually found out the story behind the Bristol 5. What ended up happening is Insania said, well, it was going to be 100% for Boxy, and the Boxy looked at the draft and said, okay, this is actually one of the worst Bristol games that we could possibly have. And he's like, I'm going to look bad on this hero. It's fine. And Insania, being the captain of the year, is just like, I'll play it. I'm sure this will go great.
I mean, hey, we saw it in the interview, right? He said, do it for the fans. He took the hottest sauce, just like in that game. He took the hardest role, which is the 5-position bristleback. I appreciate any captain who's willing to take that role upon himself.
Yeah, it's sort of like when Kuroki played the puck support in the games that we saw in the group stage. That's definitely not something that you practice, but at a TI, you have to learn how to be flexible, especially in the draft. I mean, if it works, you look like a genius and you introduce a new wrinkle. And if you lose, you know, you're in the lower bracket. That's what happens.
So, Fox, you said that I don't want to see Alliance get too greedy. What do you want to see RNG do here?
I think RNG should just stick with their guns, and I think RNG's also been one of the few teams that I've seen actually not break their like the way that they do drafting order. They are literally every single time I've seen them pick, they've done support, offlane, and then they save their last 2 cores. I think every single time I've seen, actually Setsu gets the overall last pick for his team. When I look through all of their games, pretty much at this entire tournament, it's been nothing changed from that.
And that is super unique, right, Will? The fact that like just opening with 2 supports like that, almost everybody's opting for 1 core.
We see Newbie often even save their 5 position for the very last pick. That's something that's pretty unique to them. I think partially what it is that Setsu is a newer player, and I think it's important to sort of get confidence, give him the best possible matchups. Because when I have seen RNG play, and when they do play well, it's when he's having a very good game.
Yeah.
I really feel like it's important to enable your mid laner in a tournament like this.
Yeah, it's like one of the few teams I actually saw where they don't actually flex really at all. Where we talk a lot about the flex picks, the Miranas, something like that. They actually they pick the Mirana, and you're like, that's Lanem. You know for a fact it's gonna be Lanem. The Elder Titan, they've had a little bit of back and forth between Lanem and Afu, but yeah, they've really just been sticking to just their overall like the way that they want to do their drafts. It's really
Speaking of flex, we saw the big muscly man Koifa there, who's going to be his mid matchup against Setsu.
Yeah, that's going to be, and that's the open up of a Dark Willow into the Leshrac Abaddon.
That's a really good answer to Dark Willow, right?
Yeah.
Interesting though. The Shadow Demon's not looked at though, right? That's a bit of a odd one out.
You have Leshrac, who has good AoE, targeted, not a targeted stun, and then on top of that you have Abaddon, who just gets rid of the Curse Crown. And it just feels good, because you can't ever get bursted. Plus, it's relatively flexible still. Like, both these picks, you talked about how they don't really do it as a flex.
Yeah.
But as a last-second option, you can. Both of these can either be, you can go anywhere from mid to carry with any of these, really, aside from the Abaddon, who's most likely going to be offlane or support.
It's kind of cool to see that they've I feel like they've broke their formula. Like I haven't seen them do that the entire tournament.
I really don't. I feel like that can't be a 5 and a 4 position, just straight up, right? Just because that support duo is going to be a little weird.
That's the issue with the support duo. I think is like you sort of lack playmaking. You want something that can get in there, which is why Alliance really likes having.
Whoa!
Oh!
Whoa!
What is this?
Just opening void.
You know what? I'm down with it. As we watch the Void dance on stage, I almost feel like Alliance is coming to this with a very, very clear plan and confidence in that plan.
I think part of it, what it is Alliance is trying to make the game as easy for themselves as possible. At the Summit, they said their drafting philosophy is pick playmakers that have disables. Well, Void is the ultimate disable.
That's true.
Chronosphere is it's 5 different stuns in one, right?
And technically, you can stun your entire team. That's like 9.
Oh, damn.
Didn't think about that. The heads up play.
Did not.
Oh, it's really interesting that Alliance is, they're just going to stick to themselves then. It seems like it doesn't really, I don't think it really matters what they're going to be playing against. I think they've got their own draft that they've probably already decided a little bit in advance coming in versus what RNG's been doing.
Do you think this is about superior team fight?
Yes, and what it is as well is I think Alliance, what I really like in a best of 1 situation is just play what you're good at.
Yeah.
You don't have to get into the whole like best of 3 meta where you're counterpicking. I think if you believe that you're the better team, which I honestly believe Alliance does, you want to be as stable as possible with your draft. That means picking good crowd control. That means picking good team fight. One of the scariest things in Dota is going high ground. In a best of 1 situation, going high ground against a faceless Void who can always pierce through BKB and just always has good team fight and can threaten, I think that's always going to be a good thing.
It's always a late game. They have a late game insurance right off the bat, right? In a best of 1, that always feels pretty good as long as you don't get run over. So that's the one thing I was talking about. I'm a little concerned of them potentially getting run over if RNG does draft a very fast-paced lineup, and Void can get punished in that manner.
Yes, that's one thing that we saw against LGD is when they do draft the Void, what they dislike is that tempo. When you can play very quickly, they like to pick it where they can play more of a mid-game, slightly later game timing, where they gave a lot of farm to Ame, but in this kind of game, especially with Leshrac, Abaddon, you have 2 different ways to siege. You have 1 heal that can consistently purge off, and you have the Leshrac with the Edict.
And to back that point up, Alliance do exactly that. They ban arguably the 2 most mid-game heavy cores in the game right now. Alchemist, who has this insane mid-game timing, and Wraith King, who's had a lot of success there as well.
Yeah, it seems like they were kind of forced to ban those, right? But I think this hurts quite a bit. Giving away the Shadow Demon now also, so gives the Leshrac this setup easily throughout the game. It's also great save versus the Void as well. So that's gonna be, I mean, that's a really good pickup there for RNG.
Yeah, it's good against the Void in both that you can disrupt whoever gets chronoed, and later, before he gets BKB, you can disrupt him as well. Plus, Abaddon always feels good to play against Void. You can't ever burst that hero.
There's definitely going to be a lack of targets, it seems, for this Faceless Void.
Yeah. And there's potential for fun late game, right, Cap? That I know we're probably looking forward to.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Ags Abaddon.
The
We're hoping
Ags
for-
Abaddon.
I know we're both hoping for it, but
Yannis and I are both big fans.
Yeah. This also changed the principle that you were talking about, leading with the 2 supports.
yeah, it's a good way to adjust, right? You're coming into a BO1. Other team might have done a lot of homework on you. They probably see that formula coming out as well. So yeah, breaking that formula coming in here is definitely a neat approach.
Now, one of the easiest things to follow up a Faceless Void is just, there's a general philosophy, just get damage you can dump inside the Chronosphere, right? So who are some of our heroes that we're going to be looking for to pair with that?
I mean, the biggest one is really taken out, right? That other Titan right off the bat in the start. The Mirana is also not going to be in the pool. Those are 2 of the ones that I love to see the most. Besides that, there's sometimes like the Invoker, but I don't think that we're going to be seeing anything like that. I think we've been seeing Koikva playing pretty, I wouldn't say limited pool, but more of his comfort style.
I would have said they were going to guarantee take the AA if it was available to them. That's a combo that they really like. The only issue with that hero is that it's very slow, but instead we're going to probably see the Insania Crystal Maiden. This hero, for me, has been gaining traction as a 5. Like, I sort of like it. You can nuke out the range creep so you can push out the lane, and this is the hero that Lacoste actually mentioned on the panel, the Storm pick.
And that it's exactly what you want if you're talking about that best of 1, playing the high ground, right? Like, what beats a Void and a Storm Spirit?
And the only downside is that I think that you can potentially get punished, especially if the laning phase goes wrong. Both these heroes need time to catch up. Storm, you need to hit the jungle, you need to default to stuff like that, so we'll see.
So the story of this has got to be Boxy coming in big, right? With this last pick off laner, whatever it is, it has to be relatively fast tempo, and it has to just take over the game for a certain point to give his Storm and Void enough time to work.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of more of the box heroes. I'm just thinking, like, just stick with the style, right? Alliance, I look at their 4 heroes, and I think if you could just erase RNG's draft, and this is probably what Alliance would have picked anyway in some situations, right? This is 4 very comfortable heroes that they've been playing with at this tournament.
RNG choose to ban away the Bristleback as one of those heroes just to stand in front of towers and slow things down.
It's a good initiator here, because Alliance, they have the Void for like a follow-up, but you want someone else to kind of start the fight, right? And they still have the Willow there. They could still go for something like, I mean, Ogre's still in the pool if they did want to go for it, right?
Yeah.
Foxy Ogre.
Yeah, it enables the Faceless Void a lot, right?
Yeah, it'd be strong too because you can pressure in lane. Yeah. And this hero doesn't really care. You just sort of run at people.
I've seen a good amount of the Willow Ogre dual lane actually, and it just like, I think I've seen it just run over pretty much every single safe lane that it's been up against. So I do think that's a bit of a possibility. It works really well with their whole synergy, as Cap was mentioning with the Bloodlust. Thinking here hard about their last ban. Yeah, what's that like?
They are running out of
deciding-
reserve time, so.
Yeah, like which one's going to be the actual supports? Because right now, like Lon M's traditional ones are kind of gone that he's been playing a lot. Is he going to be playing a little switch up for that Lash, and they're going to make this core, off lane Abaddon? Could be the case. They could still make Monet playing the Lash Strike in the safe lane too.
I will say, if I'm a Storm, I'd love to be in a situation where I'm against the Lash, as they're going to take the Gyrocopter for themselves. So this is going to be an off-lane Void.
And that is true. Something that we definitely did not expect, right? But that does fulfill one of our requirements, which is damage to dump inside that Chronosphere, right?
Yeah. So the issue that I had was I actually wanted to see some sort of hero like Axe, but part of the problem is you run into a weird situation where all of a sudden you have a melee core that doesn't get enabled through the Chrono.
Yep.
And so it almost has to be some sort of range hero that can also dump damage in, like you said. Gyro fits that bill, and more importantly, he's a very fast tempo carry.
And it's definitely throwing Royal Never Give Up for quite the loop. You could see Lanem motioning to his head. I think he got in there a little bit.
I wonder if they could do something like, it's a bit too greedy actually, never mind. I was going to suggest something like a Morphling just because I see now Gyrocopter, I see Willow. You've got these dream targets as Aghanim Morphling.
You do.
If they do want to go for that, I think it's a bit greedy if RNG does actually go for something like that because they have Ember, and Ember Morphling feels a little bit just, I don't know. And whoa.
All right, well, there's your late game carry and the hard counter to the Storm Spirit, Blitz.
Oh, all right. So I traditionally hate playing against this hero, as Storm, because at some point you will get caught out. It is an inevitability.
Fogged, I mean, what do you think about this? Does RNG, have they just given themselves the late game win condition? It seemed like everything was lining up for Alliance to have that better late game.
I know teams always talk about the AM versus that Void matchup. It can go both ways. Void can be a bit easier to execute, though, and it is an off-lane Void, so I do think this gyro could set the tempo for Alliance to be able to bring it to RNG.
And Blitz, I mean, what does Alliance have to do here to be able to overcome that Storm versus AM matchup?
You can't ever give a free kill on the Storm versus the Anti-Mage, which is so hard to do, but you have to assault his safe lane as frequently as possible. I'd like to see Quakefa make a power rune play, go to the top lane, try to get as aggressive as possible, help Boxy take that tower. Yeah. Squeeze in the Anti-Mage's farm, make sure that you take over the triangle, take the tier 1 towers as fast as possible, and Roshan is going to be the biggest thing for me. If you can get an Aegis on the Storm, it makes the effectiveness of the Anti-Mage go down by so much.
It seems like simultaneously we have both this this lineup that was supposed to go late game. Last picks the Gyrocopter. Now they're the ones who have to be aggressive.
Yeah, it does seem like to be like that. It's definitely a bit of a threatening lineup here from RNG going into that later stage.
All right, the beginning of our best of ones, Alliance versus RNG, and we've got a special treat. Final words with Casey and Loda.
Thank you, guys. All right, Loda, very, very quickly, how are you feeling based on how the draft went that you're going to be doing in this game?
I mean, I'm feeling good. I think that there was some funny stuff happening during the draft. It feels like an Alliance draft, and I think the boys are going to do really fine. Yeah.
How did you motivate your team from inside the pod, since you know what they're going through and what it feels like having been a player in there yourself?
Honestly, I just tell them to, dare to trust themselves, just dare to play out the game, don't show any fear. We're just here to play Dota just like any other day. There's a lot of, there's a lot on the line, but I think it's the Alliance win. I think they're going to do really well. Yeah.
Feel confident?
Yeah, I feel confident.
Loda, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the lower bracket where dreams are made and also crushed. Trent, it's all happening right now, man.
Yeah. Confident? Was that confidence I saw in Lotus face? It didn't look that confident. I know he's saying that he's very hopeful here, but it's scary stuff. The draft, an Alliance draft, hasn't really been something that has been praised all that much. They've been up, they've been down. They're a tumultuous team. So we'll see if the Anti-Mage has their number this time from Monet.
Well, I will say that he was throwing out a couple of last words there to his team as he was leaving the booth, and he did have a smile on his face there at the very least, feeling like they at least got what they wanted. The Quakefa Storm, I mean, this has been truly a classic for them over and over and over again, paired together with that Crystal Maiden. And again, the big thing that we're going to have to watch for in those later stages is where do the Chronos lands? They're putting it all on Boxy as quick little stun goes out. RNG picking up 2 of those bounty runes. The run down for Flyby, trying to find the kill onto the Abba. Can they get first blood? Just barely outside of range, and they do manage to pick it up. Mickey drawing first blood.
Okay. So Alliance able to get that onto their carry, and also versus the offlaner too. So Flyby just, not really feeling it at the beginning, and he's going to have some help from Lanham, but this isn't exactly a threatening lane, right? With like a Leshrac combo here. Leshrac and Abba. I'm not too concerned if I'm playing in that lane versus them.
No, truly not. Not a whole heck of a lot of kill potential.
Till the levels start stacking up, then we have some serious spam and harass. That can be annoying.
Fair enough, yeah. Well, Mickey up there with Insania as well. Insania already out of
I'm worried about that guy down there, though.
Uh-oh. Afu trying to run away. Does look like they're going to continue the pressure onto him, but should be able to just get the walk away. Although Boxy moves forward, goes for the body block, seeing if they can find the walk off, but it's not quite going to be there. And Boxy instead is going to be the one taking a couple of pot shots as we get a short little pause there from Afu.
He's got to breathe after that, got a little worried for a second. He's got a couple sound problems there, so.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I really wanted to touch on, and now that we have this little pause, Boxy has so often for this team been like that stalwart force in the middle of everybody, making the plays on big initiators. And what bigger initiator is it than Void? Like, if I want to put the game all in one player's hands on this team, I feel like it's probably Boxy.
Yeah, it's a dangerous thing, though. We have not seen the Faceless Void in the offlane anymore. Used to have a stable presence there for quite a while, right? And it makes sense, because in the offlane, we like to have the initiators, the team fighters, the guys who scream and yell when they go into battle. But Faceless Void, he needs so much. He feels like he needs a lot of items to be effective here. So Boxy probably going to want a lot of kills here early with Taiga.
No, totally. And I think that there's always these questions, too, of like, are we going to go back to the old days of needing to get aggro and picking up treads? Is he going to go like the Hand of Midas? I feel like that was the classic question that always got asked way back in the Faceless Void days. But the bigger thing, too, is just how do you play around that hero and not get picked off by the Anti-Mage, particularly on the Storm Spirit? That's going to be one of the big things to watch for in this one, I think.
Yeah, I liked how they were bringing it up on the draft panel at the end there too. Just this idea of like, yeah, I'd like to see them like push towers and like get Roche, and you start to look at the heroes and you're like, huh, yeah, push towers. There's pretty much Leshrac. You know, typical Ember draft where you really need someone else that hits towers. At least you have the split push there from RNG in terms of the Anti-Mage. But for the side of Alliance, hitting towers is not necessarily their strong point in this one. And really, objectives overall, they're going to be a little bit difficult to take. It feels like they got to be bloodthirsty first, and then go back.
That always makes for the best of games, though. I have to say that you get into these situations where suddenly 5 kills happen, one after the other. There's a billion buybacks around a Roche fight or what have you. And that's really, I think, the bread and butter of Alliance drafts, going into the late game and having some crazy stuff happen.
We lost our Norwegians.
There were a few of them in the back.
Taiga, I believe, the first Norwegian player who they were happy to tell us about here.
Yeah.
And they screamed his name as loud as they could, but clearly they went to get some perfect seats to watch their boy play. That's pretty exciting, though. I have to say, you know, we got fans coming from all over here to Shanghai, the lovely international.
Yeah, and I think that it's sort of been a hallmark of this event that no matter where it's held, you get people from all over the world.
It's true. That is the best part.
There's always a very large contingent of Chinese fans when it comes to North America, and I have a feeling that as well, you know, there's probably going to be a few of them hanging around there as well. So we are fixing a few technical issues right now. We should be able to hop back into the game very shortly. The other thing that I wanted to talk about here, though, was that it felt like Alliance was kind of constantly getting a little bit of extra love from the crowd. I was a little bit surprised to see that.
Yeah, the crowd has been hot and cold a bit here today. So well, you heard Dove say, right? They like TI winners. You get respect. And I guess that transfers over. You get grandfathered in.
It's just because coming up on stage.
Na'Vi came out, they cheered. That's true. I guess Loda was there. But then Alliance comes out, they cheer quite loudly. I think they got cheered louder than Newbie did.
Yeah, they might have. And Newbie's the Chinese organization.
Obviously, you know, just one of the Chinese teams, just fitting in with the boys, trying to hang out.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that this is going to be one of those years, too, where you start to see the numbers dwindle down a little bit, and then they're really going to latch on to one particular team. At least for me, that's kind of what it's feeling like. Obviously, some of those Chinese are in the upper bracket, but there's less of the games in the upper bracket, so you start to build these storylines. And RNG and Alliance, to me, feel like both teams that could make a huge run here through the upper bracket, or lower bracket. I think that both of them probably were feeling like they maybe should have gotten into that upper bracket.
It's tough. It's tough because it's so close. But thankfully, we're so close back to the game. There she is. And if you forgot, Boxy just spent a lot trying to take down Afu. Afu now salve back up. And Boxy, only 3 tangos left to his name, but Taiga is holding a salve too.
So it does look like a lane setup that we haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of in the group stages leading up to it. The Faceless Void and the Dark Willow against AM and Shadow Demon. Kind of interesting draft all along the lines for Royal Navigup. They got the double save going on with Shadow Demon and the Abba.
Makes sense when the Void gets picked up so early too, right?
Yeah.
And a hero who, he was having a rise in popularity in terms of like the pub scene quite a bit over the past couple weeks, but still hasn't like really propelled fully into the position 1 that maybe some people were expecting after the last few weeks of pubs.
Definitely.
This is no surprise though, the mid lane. The Quake for Storm Spirit Alliance specialty with the Crystal Maiden. Has man, tons of trays down there in that bottom lane. The battle of regen. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the timing there. Whoops, bit of lag. I see a courier.
Oh my goodness,
I see a
Leshrac. Yeah,
and a split earth.
So I think that he does know that this courier is over in this direction. Landon does.
If I had to guess, he was going for a split earth to break some trees so he can cut in and find this courier. So my assumption currently is that Alliance have not yet seen this Leshrac.
Right. Yeah.
And they have a feeling that he's in here, but he's going to try and find this courier by cutting some trees.
Okay.
He's got a haste rune too, so he might just get away with it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they are going to be able to get in there and just sneak away that kill. Although they are, they did have a ward
fast though. Like, how do you stop him from just getting it? All right,
will
it live or will it die? Take your bets in the chat. Lanham's coming in. Oh, where's the courier? Oh, other tree line there, bud. Okay, now he's out. All right, courier lives. Congratulations to those who took a chance.
Yeah, they did have that ward there on the high rune, so maybe they spotted that, and that's why they moved back.
That's true. His way on in there, all speedy like.
Yeah. Well, still looking for some more punches here. Did not manage to buy a bash on the Void against Afu, although the Brambles are brought down. Afu is still walking away, though, and going to go for the disruption play. Can he juke it?
Play.
The juke? No.
It's like, do I try the next level? Or do I just go for it? And, well, he went for it.
Yeah. Waste their time a little bit more. That's important. So up top, a lane that we haven't really talked about all that much. Continued farm, and Mickey's been able to get a pretty nice time so far, as well as the ABBA, 9-2 versus the 15-2. And with this wave pushing in, should make it a little bit better as well as they start trading off there in the mid. Quakefo right now a little bit ahead of that Ember Spirit.
Yeah, again, this top lane likely to just be rather chill, but it does offer possibilities for Lonum to make rotations. With an Ember in the mid lane, you never know whether it's going to be a Slight, a Bola, and then into a Splitter for some additional damage. So Flyby, not really someone who needs full assistance all the time, as they will, constant harass between these teams. And that mid lane, again, it's one of those things where it's just, I'm going to farm, you're going to farm, I got a jungle, you got a jungle. Probably going to need some rotations unless you have that like perfect race to 6 moment where one of them's going to go for the kill on the other.
Right, of course.
And Rune's always going to be a big factor too.
Oh, Boxy again, trading hits. Monet thinking about going. Ooh.
Give him the dance.
Taiga's going to make this rotation. See what they can find. The pull being used now. Taiga not quite able to get there with the root to be walked into it. And now the stun coming out, but he is pretty close to his tower. The rotation is coming in with the TP from the Lesh. And as Lanham shows up, that might be the end of the gank.
Yeah, that Edict goes right through that though. Woo, the juice.
Dodge away, Taiga.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not going to matter though, as the root comes through and Fairy Fire trying to walk away. Another round of Bramble Mates, and he actually gets out. All right.
No way from Norway. Getting out. Yeah, that was, I tried to find something.
You know,
quite it. Lonum's back there again. He's like, maybe this time, as Taiga makes the walk too far away from him to grab though.
Now, a lot of movement towards that mid as Boxy is going to take another couple punches, but still 1 stick charges and he's bringing in everything. So yeah, the courier was waiting off to the side for him.
That's the stressful one. If I had this courier, wouldn't have died. So he does manage to survive here.
Well, again, Quakeva forcing back Afu, and it looks like Bounty Runes will again be traded off.
Oh, that's
as Mickey making this move onto Flyby, still bringing him low, but not low enough to find the kill as of yet. The Edict doing a good chunk of damage there onto Mickey, but the bigger damage is now onto Lana.
Well, he also didn't go for the bounty for this too.
Oh, another dodge away. Mickey making these plays.
Yeah, very good reads there. Unfortunately for him, the wave is pushing in, so they get the kill, but they won't get the bounty rune. Flyby will take that as a consolation prize and essentially trade Lanham's life for it.
5 minutes in so far, we've got 3 kills to 0. And Alliance feeling pretty good. I mean, as we're going to watch and see. Monet just gets the blink back. Do you feel like either side has more pressure going on? Both of them have really good late game teams, it feels like.
I feel like this is just going to be a classic best of one. Maybe someone's going to take care of it in the first 20 or 30 minutes and really have a big lead. But to me, this looks like some game where everyone's going to be very timid, kind of play it back, and we're going the distance.
Going the distance. Well, Afu gets stunned. Boxy too, though, in a little bit of trouble, and actually body blocked in. They get the disruption, and the banishment comes out. They find the kill. Too many stacks up there, Shadow Poison, and Void just played it a little bit too close.
Yeah, all this action happening here. Not a lot of time for stacks, unfortunately. For the Alliance side is one, of course, that we're going to care about because they have the Gyrocopter they're trying to get farmed, and the Storm Spirit's always going to appreciate that too. But Anti-Mage, he's getting great lane farm, much like that Gyrocopter, but of course you'll trade equal farm on an AM than compared to a Gyro, I believe, for that wonderful timing on the Battle Fury.
No, definitely. And then just stay off map, allow other people to make moves for yourself. As they are bringing in Lanham. If they manage to find a disruption, this would be a pretty nice kill setup with the Split Earth after the disruption. But right now, Alliance still playing underneath their tower, not moving too far forward, and it looks like Lanham will not be able to find a kill with that movement bottom. Oh, double bash.
Jeez, he went for the triple. I don't know about that one.
Guy needs to go to the casino. He's getting a couple of them there. So yeah, level 6 right now on Monet. Gonna head over to the side of the shrine, pop it there, heal back up, come back into the lane again. And this is, again, the centerpiece of this RNG draft. The Anti-Mage is gonna make it all work for them.
And he's gonna keep Quick on his toes throughout the entire match. Any Storm Spirit play, that int already up to 700 and, mana pool up to 760. So you know the Mana Void's gonna be rocking. The nuclear explosion that can blow up your whole team.
And one thing that we haven't really again, touched on too much, mainly just saying that the lane is going to be a trade-off, is Gyrocopter right now sitting top of the last hits, also top of the net worth, almost 1,000 gold ahead of that anti-mage at this point in time in the game, and going for the early drums feels like what that panel was talking about is going to be the case, where he wants to get active very, very early on. So we'll have to watch for that. Mouse doesn't work again. Not great, but we'll see if Afu can get himself back under control here in a second.
It's all right. They got themselves some backups. You know, they're prepared. But so far, things relatively even. We're coming up on 8 minutes. It looks like rune control. Quick is going to go for the bot. And RNG looking to secure that top rune off, who wants his mouse in tip-top shape, just in case someone wants to contest him there. Full bottle for Quakeba, so would love to have it, but not so much for the regen or anything, but simply so he can make a play. As you heard Blitz say, I want to see him get an early power rune. I want to see him go for a kill. I want to see him pressure the anti-mage. I mean, look where he is. He's approaching the lane, or the rune spot closest to the anti-mage. This is exactly the play that he wants to go for here. And they also should have the chrono very soon.
Yeah.
Not quite there, though, yeah. A little unfortunate, as they'd love to sync that up just to try and help ensure it.
I mean, we might even see Boxy just try and beat down this creep wave and then the next one that comes afterwards to get that level 6, if there's a good rune that shows up for Storm Spirit. Because obviously finding a kill on that AM at this early stage of the game would be top tier.
Yeah, he can just take his time with the rune, maybe go back to the jungle a little bit, wait. Once he sees that moment with the chrono, that is plenty of time to allow you to TP in. And frankly, they might just bring in the Gyrocopter too. The call down is on CD right now for another 35 seconds or so maybe he'll just chill and keep on farming. But you know, call down, chrono, they go pretty well together.
Easy peasy. And we will have the restart now as well as we get back into this game. RNG versus Alliance. Will the dodge away from the stun a second time now, and Lanham just going to eat the dirt. Quakeba finds the kill with the Arcane Rune.
Okay, doesn't even need to pop it. Even better. And up top, Flyby has returned here. He just went all the way back to Fountain. It's currently holding the level 6, but it's going to put some harass onto Mickey, who is fresh out of regen, but Insania, of course, there to help him with the salve.
Well, and again, sort of this weird duality that we got going on in this game. Gyrocopter sitting top of the net worth, feeling like he's strong and in charge. Going to try and build up some of those quick fighting items, it looks like. And maybe they can try and hit this anti-mage before he really starts coming online.
Hey, even better than this, they'll just shrine right up there. So Insania is saying, all right, I think you're good. You head back up top. I'm going to peek mid a little bit, try and get the double stack off for you. And they're going to start trying to propel this storm. All right, we got the in-sync pulls coming out here. Mind you, while they're doing this, the rotation is coming up top. The smoked up supports looking for that disruption in the Splitter with combo.
This could be the big moment right now.
Yeah.
Mickey.
All stacks successful, though. So they got that.
You got to be really careful about this rotation. Mickey level 7, but Insania's going to run into him.
On to Setsu.
Well done here. So they're going to make sure that they don't find the turnaround kill. Although, actually, they're going to turn and see if they can take down Flyby. But this is not going to be a rotation that works out that well. Meanwhile, Quakeba from the low ground hitting onto them. Setsu's here as well. They're in rather deep, but they are going to be able to find the stun. And then the follow-up kill on Afu. So a trade-off of the 5 positions. That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, even with the Arcane Rune, Quakeba knows they doesn't have enough to actually make something happen there. He's forced to retreat and go back to these camps, as you saw, like fully stacked up there. Very good stuff here for Quakeba. So he's got a little bit of an edge already on the Ember, but that's going to start to grow here.
Up top, yet again, they find the dive. Setsu going in, has the Aphotic Shield with the Flame Guard going simultaneously, and Boxy shows up, has the Chronosphere available. Does he want to drop it, though? He managed to land it just outside of range of Mickey.
What?
Boxy the player.
Oh, man. Mickey was like a pixel outside of that.
They find the stun, disruption to interrupt it, and now Flyby moving in a position, trying to see if they can save a life, but finds the bat afterwards. Boxy chasing forward for this one, gets the stun, the follow-up coming in from Quakeba. He wants to kill him off, and in fact, they're going to be able to likely do it. Oh, the Brambles laid down again afterwards, and Lanham also under fire. 4 go dead. Alliance with the beautiful rotation.
Man, that first chrono is one that you usually don't even count on. You're just like, if I can kill the guy I'm laning against, that's a good chrono. It doesn't tend to be one that saves your position 1, because, you know, you're not playing out. Look at the damage he did! This is an off-lane void! He just kept on bashing people. I mean, you can't ask for anything more out of Boxy in this one. He's done enough.
Absolutely. Well, and you can see now he's caught back up ahead of where the Abaddon was in spite of that laning stage, which went a little bit worse, but the big rotation comes in with that Chronosphere. Now, I will mention that the combination of the Flame Guard and the Aphotic Shield is something that we saw a while ago. Quite strong, is just in maximum survivability. and capable of dishing out a ton of damage. Just means that this Ember can go super ham.
Yes, it is a lot of magic damage from Alliance, especially until like much later into the game. But at the same time, between the disruptions, the Flame Guard, the Aphotic Shield, there is still an opportunity for Alliance to be able to bring him down with these well-placed Chronos from Boxy. But expect Setsu to have an extremely good match.
We see Insania there just throwing out a freezing field, because why not? The Gyrocopter was also helping to clear out the camps while all that was happening. So right now sitting at 4,500 net worth. The thing is, you've got to transition this into objectives afterwards for Alliance.
Yeah, despite all what happened up top, right? I mean, they're the ones who have lost the tier 1 tower. Their mid-tier ones being hit by Catapult there from RNG, though, so at least they got that going for themselves on Alliance, but they are still down a tower as Boxy tries to create space in the bottom lane.
Keeping that pressure on. Obviously, very maneuverable hero, capable of escaping if somebody comes down there to mess with him. And it does look like it's going to be Setsu that shows up. Boxy does have Chronosphere back off cooldown in a couple of seconds, but they would need a big rotation to make anything really worth it. And he's just going to back away.
Dance away.
Dance away,
Yeah, not just back.
How dare I?
Mickey is under vision here. You can see Afu just kind of leeching nearby, looking for a bit of free XP as he sees Alliance clearing things out here. But Insania, he's got 4 sentries, so you can say goodbye to this Observer. Very surprised if he were to miss this one, and there it goes.
Yeah, knowing exactly what was going on, Afu still wants to soak up some of that experience. Gets level 6 off of it, so we'll have access to his ultimate.
Oh, they've got the Purge, though, and they're still playing very aggressively with
down
this
bottom.
ABBA.
They're looking for Setsu, and they're just going to go for the Chrono again. Well played by Boxy, as that one is just going to be a quick and easy kill. Oh, onto Setsu. No! The turnaround! Are you kidding me? He finds them both. Land him! Oh, land him! The fear up top, they find a turn.
It costs, you can see Alliance at the same time in tandem movement. They start going for flyby, and Lano and Afu are just like, sorry, dude. We gotta hit the guy up down bottom. This is all Setsu. You're the ABBA. Beautiful save coming out here, and we get essentially the reverse play now from RNG. Oh, saving Private Mickey and saving General Setsu.
God, we can only hope to be as good at Dota when we're as old as Lanham. Actually, we're probably older than him, now I'm talking about that. But still, the veteran making it happen on the big stage in the best of one. And Setsu just going to back out now after the Cursed Crown lands on him. God, you love to see that stuff.
Yeah, and we've kind of evened out here. I mean, kills, don't worry about kills. Early game kills, they mean pretty much nothing these days, guys. It does give you a slight XP lead, I will say that. That just went from like 4K to 2K now for Alliance. But aside from that, we get pretty even on the gold, and we have that Anti-Mage so close to his Battle Fury. But that's a lot of stacks.
Yeah.
Alliance are very good at this.
Alliance have been super solid about keeping these stacks up, and obviously great heroes to clear through them, to build up that advantage, and obviously also get those supports, the gold that they desperately need. So right now, 1,000 gold lead, and Monet still not quite at his Battle Fury. He's getting close to it.
Yeah, speaking of farm and stuff, Lennon has an Atos nearly complete. He's only 100 gold away. So trying to maybe catch Koikba off guard this early in the game, also helpful versus maybe this Dark Willow, just setting up for his own split earth, especially when we're skirmishing so much.
Throw out the missile at the start. Koikba is rooted over to the side and doesn't have a big enough mana pool to really join that fight if it were to happen. So yeah, they're going to back out. Well, again, a little bit of a lull as we get ready for the bounty rooms. We'll see if there are any fights for them, as already the ABBA is set up on the top side. Boxy picks up one, Monet gets the other, and RNG going to get 3 out of 4.
Yeah, almost looked like Alliance were more so hopeful for the mid runes or something there, but I believe Setsu snagged one up too. So not a whole lot there at the 15-minute mark for the boys on the Dire side, but they're going to smoke up and try and make use of another Chrono, as well as take this tower. So we'll see if RNG get the correct read. It looks like Mane is long gone. The guy's already back at his own ancient area, now farming up, stack, and again, just getting so close to that Battle Fury. Flyby going to keep pressuring into the top, so should be a pretty quick push here from Mickey. They're still deciding to keep everyone else hidden, but RNG, they've kind of figured it out.
But RNG, they're going to make that rotation bottom, it looks like.
Ooh, okay. Maybe Lanham really wants us with the Atos. And that's Taiga.
Breaks it, goes into the Shadow Realm, gets the Curse Crown off as well. Setsu in a little bit of trouble. Boxy could think about chasing for this one, but they're underneath the ward. Got to be careful. They've already found Koikla. He's disrupted. Boxy needs to make the curl perfect, and he does it yet again. The Terrorize comes out. Boxy making the plays with the insane ulti on top of all of it. He ran into the root. Setsu under control, but do they have enough damage? Boxy turning now onto Setsu, tries to find a kill. Another round of the Sleight of Fist, and they have to back away. Trade off already, but now Mickey, the big bad boss, has shown up. Wants to run down Flyby, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get it. The big win in all of this, though, was Stormsphere able to escape.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. I thought RNG had the saving. I thought it was the ABBA and the disruption from the Shadow Demon that's supposed to keep your cores alive, because this purple guy over here seems to keep chronoing everyone to keep them up.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Boxy has been playing his heart out here, going for the early hood as well to keep staying alive that much longer. But yeah, a couple rounds of it, gets it just in time, and Storm Spirit able to escape.
Yeah, a bit of a difficult rotation there for RNG. They're moving it at nighttime. You saw their smoke popped, and then he wasn't able to get the first Atos onto the Dark Willow, but it worked out because then he helped lock down Quickfoot for this, and then Boxy. Take your time, RNG. I can watch this all day.
Very, very impressive showing. Yeah, and a couple of rounds there running into the brambles while it was all happening. Very impressive showing from Alliance, and most definitely Boxy there. And Mika, you can see, just a little bit late to the party, but still making it work.
Yeah, yes, Boxy. You can just see it. Yeah.
Stuff.
Needed the big save there, but there was a lot of questions about what his build would be, right? On the Faceless Void. The last time we saw the hero, there was like Vlad's and sometimes Blink. Shadowblade was very popular. He's gone for the survivability and that hood first, and now he's thinking about a Manta because he has to deal with the root from the Ember as well as that Atos now too. So quite a few good options for it. And then really, if you feel like this game's going along, which I have a feeling that they're probably thinking, you're going to get yourself the talents eventually for the mobility too.
All right, well, we do have some information. They are going to be swapping out that computer, but we do still have a lot of things that we can talk about in this match, because to me at least, you look at this series so far, I mean series, it's best of one, but Boxy
still a
making
series.
the plays, that's fair.
Counts.
Yeah, that's fair. Boxy making the big plays. I think that it's a little bit unique that Taiga hasn't been getting as much farm as we've seen on him previously. Sometimes this guy has just been like completely out of control. A little bit more quiet this time.
Yeah, he tends to have like 4, 5, 6 kills or something at this point. I think he's about 300 gold ahead of Insania, which, yeah, that is indeed incredibly rare, but I guess it comes down to the fact that they're just stacking, focusing super heavily on Koikfa and Mickey right now, plus, you know, Boxy needs a little bit more of this game. Boxy, maybe he can be more of like a 3.5 sort of a deal, like you get from like Zai and Yapsor in a lot of games. Not so much on Faceless Void, right? This is not a guy who's like, yeah, I can be budget. I just need level 6. No.
No. He needs to be able to make those plays, gain into that Manta style like we are talking about, and eventually be a damage dealer. Because that's the other nice part about picking these types of heroes, and particularly when your supports have a ton of team fight. Like Dark Willow, you were talking about it before TI that you felt like this was going to be the hero of the tournament.
Well,
not to throw
I have
you
a
on the spot or anything
theory.
like that.
Okay, I have a conspiracy theory. I think Crit stopped picking Dark Willow because he didn't want her to get nerfed.
Okay, that's fair enough.
That's my conspiracy theory, because I think this hero's still been super good and very versatile. Like several months, but like half the year.
Yeah.
And then like she pops up at tournaments, teams look good with her, and they just stop. I don't know. You know, obviously they're kind of pro players. They got to figure it out for the most part. But yeah, I'm down for Alliance. It allows them to play very aggressively in all their lanes. Taiga is phenomenal on it. He always pushes it like right to the limit before he goes for the Shadow Realm. You have teamfight control and save by able to use the ultimate with the Fear, the Terrorize, and then you can also just like roam at level 6 and get kills.
Totally. It's incredibly impressive, and I think that Terrorize is probably one of those spells that I don't know if it's underrated if everybody talks about how good it is, but it still might somehow be underrated, like how insane this spell is.
Yeah, it is a little ridiculous.
I would also like to say that for the anti-mage, this was a hero that I was wondering if it got to the point where people started picking it, like if it fit the meta and what everybody wanted to do, it might just become insanely busted. Because to me, Counterspell just seems insane.
Counterspell is very good. We've seen it in several games versus the Sand King, who's been popping off a lot of this tournament, right? It's just like, oh, you can't burrow strike me, instantly meta here. pretty good. But this is more the traditional reasoning, right? It's a Storm Spirit.
Right.
It's almost as simple as that, right? I mean, he fits the game for a lot of other reasons, but you can essentially win the whole team fight, if not the game yourself, by blowing up this guy who's so crucial to the enemy team's plans, and you got that like one button press.
That's
Got
true.
again at the perfect moment.
Well, when you had said, when we were watching the draft while the draft panel was going on, you were like, I can't believe AM's not banned.
Yeah.
As the crowd is getting into the moment as well a little bit here. I'm sure they're just saying, Loda, Loda. But yeah, I mean, is it